Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again. How are we doing here on a Friday? Not just any Friday, a Friday where stores are supposed to be busy, where people are supposed to be out shopping, doing your thing, and most men do not want to go shopping. Most men would rather sit in the car and listen to a podcast or listen to the radio or look at their social media. You go in, honey. I'll stay out here. I'll go on the next one with you. I've had enough. I'm just going to stay out here in the car. This is why we're local. This is why we're local in Wausau, in Appleton, and Green Bay, and Duluth, and Superior, and southeastern Wisconsin. Why? Because we want to help you get through the day with your significant other, forcing you to go shopping when I know most of you do not want to go. Now, I, for one, Steve Sparky Fifer, Charlie using over there, by the way, I love shopping. I love going shopping. So I'm not like you necessarily, which probably isn't a surprise to most of you. I'm not. In fact, got up at 4:45 this morning, Charlie. 4:45 this morning.
I think I got up 4:45 this morning to go to the bathroom, and then I went back to sleep. Yeah,
I don't have that issue in the middle of the night, thank God. So I got up at 4:45, got ready to go, headed to the first store that was giving away stuff when they opened or whatever at 6 a.m. Pull up to the store at 5:15. Store opens at 6. Now, again, all I've read, all I've heard, we'll get to the Packers. Just hear me out. All I've heard is, everybody buy it online now. It's not as busy at the stores anymore. Blah, blah, blah. So I was thinking to myself, okay, well, I mean, it's not like they're giving away free TVs or something. So probably won't be that many people here. Man, I pull up at 5:15. There are tents in front of this store. People, I'm guessing, have been there for hours, possibly slept there overnight. Too damn cold for that, for anything. And the line went all the way down the face of the store and down the other side of the store. It's like, there's way more than 100 people. We counted to like 40 or 50. We were a third of the way. I'm like, these people are way past 100. Like, what are we doing standing in line for? Sit in your warm car to 6 o'clock. You're not going to be 100 and walk in.
I mean, just insane.
Then, so I didn't even want anything in the store. I was going for the free bag. So I was like, all right, screw it. So we got back in the car. We went to another store that also opened at 6 o'clock. Walked in that store. There was nobody there other than the employees and us and like probably 5 or 6 other cars. Left, did our shopping, went to the next store. Same thing, no different. Handful of cars, walked in, did our shopping. Left there. Then I went to Blaine's Farm and Fleet at Oak Creek, where we're going to be for the 19th annual toy drive. Coming up, starting Monday through Friday next week. We'll be out there collecting toys and cash donations and all that fun stuff, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have 9 to noon with John Kuhn, and Rami Makloff will be out there. It'll just be Rami on Monday. I'm not sure about on Friday. Then noon to 2 on Monday, Mason Crosby will be there in our Bears sunroom doing the show outside along with Mitch Thunder Nellis. And then from 2 to 5, I'll be out there with the Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. I'll be out there all week doing my shows. Those other 2 shows will be out there Monday and Friday next week. So I go to Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Toyland, man. I mean, Toyland is amazing. If you've never been to Toyland, it's amazing. My camera literally went red.
I don't know what happened there.
It went red and died. And now
I'll come fix.
Here, I'll just do it like this.
Okay.
So anyways, so then we're sitting there in Toyland. I go to walk into Toyland. I'm telling you what, man, that parking lot was packed at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Packed. And there were a lot of cool things going on at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Don't get me wrong. A lot of very cool sales and everything else. But it was by far the most busy store we were in. And we ended up getting some stuff in Blaine's Farm and Fleet as well. So while it is true, some of these stores, I'm back down in this. While it's true, some of these stores, you're going to have to, battle some people. There are still plenty of stores out there, Charlie, that, aren't all that busy because people bought stuff online or whatever else. But there still are some where you're kind of elbow to elbow dealing with people.
Do you think the stuff that they're carrying at some of these stores lends to having to go out versus being online? Is it like the specialty type of stores that are still alive on Black Friday?
Yeah, maybe, I guess. I mean, I didn't go to any specialty stores per se.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about that from that perspective. I've said it before, and I'll quickly state it again before we get to the Packers. The reason why online shopping exists and why it took off is because a majority of these people do not want physical stores as many as they've had before. Because if I don't have a physical store, I don't have to pay the overhead and all the people in the physical store. For example, let's get rid of all the cashiers and just have you do it yourself. I'm going to pay you to scan your own thing. I'll have one person be in charge of 6 to 8 of these bad boys versus having 5 or 6 people working cashiers. It's all about them making more money than they already were. It had nothing to do with anything else. And you people also fell into the trap and said, oh, this is great. I can shop from my couch. I don't have to go anywhere. Cool. So what if it costs a bunch of people their jobs all over the country forever? And that's exactly what's happened. I am one person. This is going to become very uncomfortable doing the show this way. I am one person that I like the physical interaction still. So I love still doing the Black Friday stuff. I love the mass crowds and hustle and bustle and Christmas music playing in the malls while you're walking around and Santa's taking pictures with the kids. That's good stuff. Yeah. I know. Way too long not talking about the Packers, Sparky.
Be an old man. Yeah, just over there yelling at clouds and stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast coming up here in about 12 minutes or so. We'll get his thoughts on what happened yesterday with the Green Bay Packers. Don't forget, you can watch us live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Also still to come, the Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown. That's right, Gilbert Brown. Packers legend, Packers Hall of Famer Gilbert Brown will join us coming up at 3:20 today on the show. As we all know, he lives in the Detroit area, obviously surrounded by all those Lions fans and huge Packers fans. So we'll get his thoughts on Packers Lions yesterday coming up at 3:20. Fantasy Football Friday with Joe Bartel from RotoWire Fantasy Sports at 4:20, getting your fantasy football questions answered there. And then we follow the money with our guy Austin Herdina from the Potawatomi Sportsbook coming up at 4:40. All right, let's talk about this Packers win yesterday, 31-24. A Packers victory over the Detroit Lions. What did we learn more about? Who the Packers really are or who the Lions really are? Nicolay Law Talk Text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There are a lot of good things that we can conversate about. But really, at the end of the day, the game really came down to continuously kind of going for it on 4th downs in this game.
No, we've talked. Matt wanted to definitely stay aggressive in this game. And we had conversations all week, like I said, that, it's going to come down to the pass game. We got to go win it in the air. And, I think it's just the confidence he has in everybody on the offense to be able to go out there and make those plays. And, it's one of those games you got to be aggressive. You got to stay aggressive to go win it because we know, it's a really good offense on the other side of the ball. And you want to stay away from trying to give them the ball back. But, I love the mindset to be aggressive right there.
I will tell you that it was kind of cool to see Dan Campbell get Dan Campbelled in that football game, Charlie, where Matt LaFleur said, you know what, the hell with this. Like, we don't have a kicker controversy anymore. So this isn't me like, oh, I don't trust Brandon McManus. This is, I know you're going to do this to me, so I'm going to do it to you as well, and let's see what happens. And you're scoring points on 4th downs. It's not like you converted a couple in the middle of the field during the game. You were scoring points on 4th downs, Charlie.
We talked about this on Wednesday, before this game here. the Packers had to go out there and do the things that the Lions do better than the Lions. They went out there and they were aggressive on fourth down. They went out there and they threw the ball downfield when they had opportunities to throw the ball downfield and trusted that their athletes were going to make plays, which they went out there and made plays. This is how the Lions play their game, and it flustered the Lions into doing things that were maybe more aggressive than the game called for. And this is a situation where you really have to give a lot of credit to what Matt LaFleur did in kind of out-psyching Dan Campbell in a game like this, going in there and making him be the one who gets flustered and not Matt LaFleur like we have seen in the past.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. And the other part about this, too, is having that confidence in Jordan Love to do what he needs to do in those big moments. We always have talked about for weeks. He doesn't trust Jordan Love, right? That's why he's not letting him throw the ball as much. He doesn't trust the quarterback. That's the issue. Well, it appears he trusted him several times in that game.
Yeah, I mean, very big. I think be able to go out there on fourth down and execute and make some big-time plays is really the difference in that game right there. So, that's what it comes down to, is just going out there, executing, and those got-to-have-it plays. And we made plays tonight, everybody.
What was the conversation between you and Matt to go for him the last time there?
Yeah, I mean, we were staying aggressive. We got a chance to go out there and ice the game, not even give them a chance to get the ball back. And we stayed aggressive, and I love it. We made plays right there.
Yesterday, we were on the air doing the Green Bay football post-game show powered by Lakeland University, myself, Tommy Wirtz, and we went on the air at 3 o'clock. Now, a little behind-the-scenes stuff, right? When you do something like this on a network, you can't just randomly plop in at like 3:18 to start a show because the other stations, obviously can't do that. So you have to have a hard start time. So we make the hard start time 3 o'clock on noon game. So when we got on the air, it wasn't over. It was still over 2 minutes to go in that game. So the ending of that game, we were reacting to as it was happening. And Brandon Snide from the 9 to noon show with John Kuhn took a screenshot of me and Tommy's arms up in the air like touchdown when they got the big play from Dontavian Wicks there at the end. But going into that fourth down, if you go back and watch the YouTube video or go back on X and watch it, I was screaming and yelling not to go for it. I don't want to go for it. Just punt. Your defense is fine. Just punt. Do not give them the ball at midfield, for God's sakes, with a 7-point game and this much time remaining. Like, I absolutely hated that decision. And at the same time, I was going, if they go for it, I hope they get it. I hope they get it. But I'm a chicken, Charlie. I would not have went for it. I would have punted.
I get it. But at the same time, you had built this momentum throughout the game, and Matt LaFleur saw the confidence that Jordan Love was having in a player like Dontavian Wicks and the rest of the wide receivers. He was trusting Christian Watson a lot in this game and Romeo Doubs late in this game. This was a situation where you have to feel the vibe of your offense and of the leader of your team and say, you know what? Let him cook. Let him go out there and do what he's been doing all game. Now you have to see if this is going to transpire throughout the next couple of weeks still too.
Well, and again, that's the thing, right? And he was obviously definitely cooking.
Love looking around, pressure in his face, throws, it is caught! Oh, Dontavian Wicks lost his shoe, didn't matter. First down, Packers, and that will do it.
It's just crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy how he does some of the stuff that he does. That whole back foot looks like he's just throwing up a duck when he releases it. And then magically, there always seems to be a receiver that makes a catch off of that throw, Charlie.
It's just in the right spot. He has this innate ability to just ignore the pressure, it feels like, a lot this season. And it's something that I think with Jordan Love, if he can master that and then also continue to use his legs and gets outside of the pocket a little bit, he really can be in that realm of a Josh Allen type of player, getting out of the pocket that way and being able to move around. These are the talents that you see in top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and it's really fun to watch.
Charlie Houston over there, Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. Still to come, Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast will join us coming up in the next segment. In a world of tenders, Wendy's decided to make something more juicy, more crispy, and more dippable. New chicken tenders are here. Some may call them tendies, and yes, it's fun to say, and even more fun to eat. And Wendy's new chicken tendies come with an insane new sauce lineup. New Wendy's signature, new sweet chili, or new scorching hot or choose one of the classics, honey barbecue, creamy ranch, or honey mustard. Whatever you choose, they're the perfect vessel to dip all of your tendies in. Wendy's new chicken tenders are so juicy, crispy, and dippable, you'll remember them forever. Gotta have Wendy's. It's gotta be Wendy's. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
looking, floating for the corner. Wicks, he is! Is he in? Waiting for the signal. Yes, he's in! Touchdown, Packers! Oh, what a catch, Dontavian Wicks.
A beautiful catch there. Highlight courtesy of Fox. That was one of the controversies in that game yesterday, whether or not that should have been a touchdown or not, but the Packers got it. That made it 10-0. Packers then hold on to win that one 31-24. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. See Sparky Fifer here. Charlie Usen over there, other side of the glass. Joining us now for a rare Wisconsin Sports Daily appearance. He is Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. The last time you and I talked was on the Mason Crosby show because you never get to talk to Mason. So it was fun. Andy, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy Victory Friday. That was certainly a fun one yesterday. And I disagree. Zero controversy on the touchdown catch. That was as clear as day. Touchdown catch, Dontavian Wicks.
I will say this about Matt LaFleur. I know people have their issues. I scream and yell during his press conferences and pause it all the time about when he says stuff. But you want to talk about pouring gasoline on a fire when you do the wink to the media members when asking about the timeout, whether or not that got called before Belton's false start. That did not help things at all for the National Football League with Matt LaFleur doing that. And I was on there going, hey, man, he was clearly yelling at the guy, timeout, whatever. Clearly that was wrong. Clearly they completely botched that one to the Packers' benefit.
Yeah, they absolutely botched that one. And I think that one's a fair one to say. And then I think, too, they obviously botched that pass interference penalty on Christian Watson at the end of the game, too. I thought it was clearly, like I said, a touchdown to Dontavian Wicks. I didn't think there was any controversy there. But the false start timeout absolutely biffed the obvious pass interference where we saw the angle of the ref looking right at it. Yep. Obviously botched. I thought the Keyshawn Nixon illegal contact was fairly weak as well. But, you know, that's the life in the NFL. It's not always going to be perfect, and you got to find a way around it. And yesterday, certainly Green Bay did.
I was all about benching Jordan Morgan and starting Anthony Belton. I was all about not rotating those two cats in there on the offensive line. It appeared that Belton did get that chance. And then you see the Pro Football Focus grades come out, and they contribute him with 6 pressures allowed in that football game. So with what he provides in the run game, does that outweigh the struggles in the pass game in your mind, Andy Herman?
Yeah, I want to obviously go through and watch this one on the L22 still to see how he did, especially from a run blocking standpoint. The way that I had him as my lowest graded player, Anthony Belton, that is last week as well. I still like what he brings to the table, and I still think he is a little bit more of a work in progress. The way that I would kind of define it, but you know, just again, watching it last week and then just seeing a little bit of it this week between Belton and Morgan is they're both inexperienced, raw, and need time to develop. Neither of them are fantastic in pass pro. They both have a lot of work to do there. And Belton is the better run blocker. So yep. I don't think you're losing much in the other areas going to Jordan Morgan. I don't think there's a huge advantage to doing that. I would rather work through the hiccups of Belton right now and get a little bit more upside on the interior, a little bit more physicality on the interior, and a place where probably Belton's going to play for some time in his career. I just think it makes more sense to stick with him. But for anybody that just thinks, oh, Belton's at right guard, problem solved, we can, you know, wash our hands of that problem. It's still a problem. In fact, in the very last play, the fourth down to Dontavian Wicks, Belton gets, you know, completely bull rushed by Aleem McNeil and is really the one that forces Jordan Love to have to throw a fadeaway sort of jump ball to Dontavian Wicks on that play. It works out, but it's a rough rep from Anthony Belton on that particular play.
What about the center position? Sean Ryan now in place of Elton Jenkins the last couple of weeks. I feel like we may have gotten better there at the center position. And I didn't think I would say that prior to Elton Jenkins getting hurt. And obviously Elton Jenkins wasn't as good as everybody thought he was going to be going into the season. But I feel like Sean Ryan's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. I think the other thing, too, is I don't think Elton was particularly playing that well at center, if I'm being honest. So right. I don't think they've actually lost a lot at that spot. I think Sean Ryan is going to have a couple more issues here and there just with some of the checks and calls at the line. And just we saw, especially against Minnesota, there were far too many free rushers that just got allowed, whether due to a breakdown in communication or somebody going the wrong way. But from a pure physicality standpoint and some of the stuff that he's also bringing in the run game, I actually think there are potentially even some advantages there as well. So I think it's, again, still kind of a work in progress, but for his second game, really starting at center, I thought this one showed some real promise and signs.
Talk with Andy Herman, Pack a Day Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. I learned something yesterday that I did not know. I'm guessing he's been doing it all season, and I wasn't aware potentially. And I saw it for the first time yesterday. And that is this like Luigi's Pizza halftime on X broadcast. Have you been doing that all year at halftime? Has that been your thing all year?
I think that's my third one that I've done, third or fourth. We started it maybe about a quarter of the way through the season for road games, specifically because at home games, I'm obviously at the game, which makes it tough. But for road games, halftime, we have been doing it the last 3 or 4 times, and we'll remain doing it the rest of this year.
So I'm watching it, and I saw it come up, and I was like, I don't know, the 20th or 30th person in, whatever. And obviously, it's Andy Herman, so it grew to like 600, 700, 800 people watching this thing. But it was amazing because if you remember, Valentine misses that tackle that allows the touchdown, and people want Valentine cut. People want Valentine benched. I'm going, y'all need to chill, man. First of all, it's one of the better tackling defenses in the National Football League. Missed tackles are gonna happen. Did he technically do the right thing by throwing a shoulder and not wrapping up? Absolutely not. It was a horrible form and all of that, but your best cover corner you have on this team, I don't care if he misses 3 tackles in a game, nobody's benching or cutting Carrington Valentine, and Packer fans' emotions were high at halftime, Andy Herman.
That's always the thing that I struggle with the most, is that just the immediate reaction is if something goes bad, we have to immediately cut, fire, trade, whatever, bench somebody.
Hey, I saw you advocating for Matt LaFleur's extension after the game yesterday.
Oh, hey. So that's the fun part. So that's me going in the opposite direction. Oh, if we get to fire Matt after every bad loss, so do we get to extend him after every big win? And then everyone's like, it's just one game. Oh, interesting. When it's on that side, it's just one game when we have to kind of take a step back and more evaluate it through the season. But after a loss, then it's immediately fire. I talked to this about Aaron Nagler today too, of like, it's always funny to me when we get the initial schedule for Green Bay. Everyone does their like mock-up of like which games they're going to win and which ones they're going to lose. And everyone's like, you know what? Like, I think this is like a 12-5 team, like somewhere in that 12-5 range feels good. And I just wish like people knew like in order to get to 12-5, you have to lose 5 games. Are you okay with them losing those 5? I don't want to hear then any complaints until they get to that 6th loss. You expected them to be 12-5, and they're kind of on that pace right now. We'll see what the rest of the season brings, but I don't even know what your initial question was. But Carrington Valentine. Yes, we don't need to bench or cut Carrington Valentine. And the other thing too is like, listen, Carrington Valentine's been their number 1 pure cover corner on this team. There's no question about it. I wish that every Green Bay corner that they had was awesome in pure coverage skills, both man and zone, and was an amazing tackler. There's like 3 of those players in the entire league. There's like Patrick Surtain and maybe a couple others. Yeah, if you can get them, great. They're making, $40+ million per year, and there's only 3 of them on God's green earth. So, he's not going to be perfect. Neither is Keyshawn in coverage. You have to pick and choose your battles, figure out what they can do well, and hopefully mitigate some of those issues. Yes, I'd like to see Carrington Valentine wrap up on that play. He didn't, but let's have some common sense afterwards.
Andy Herman, I don't think you're as old as me, but you're older. And you have the youngins talking about Micah Parsons and just how damn good he is. Yes. And the question is he as good as Reggie White used to be back in the day? Is he getting to that dominant level? Like yesterday on the postgame show, Tommy Wirtz and myself here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, Tommy was like, man, what's a single season sack record for the Packers? I was like, I don't know. So I look it up. It's like 19 and a half. Tim Harris, right? He goes, who is Tim Harris? So I tell him about the 6 shooters and all of that from the 1989 season. I love Tim Harris. Got his autograph on one of my shirts. But yeah, so all about that. But I'll let you answer it. Like, Micah Parsons is unbelievable. The other argument that I saw happening yesterday on Twitter was because Andrew Filipponi, who is a talk show host in Pittsburgh, said, hey, man, maybe Micah Parsons is better than TJ. Maybe we need to admit that as Steelers fans lost their minds on Filipponi by making that reference. How would you compare a Reggie White to a Micah Parsons?
Yeah, first of all, I do think Micah Parsons is better than TJ Watt, and I think it's close. I think TJ's had a phenomenal career. Micah will have to extend and continue to do what he's doing for a while more to get to the level that TJ's been at for so long, so consistently. But and I think maybe sacks TJ might be a little bit ahead in spots in their career, so it's close. But Micah is more versatile. TJ's been basically that left defensive end. You don't move him around. And, they're both fantastic. I think this is the point. But as far as Reggie goes, it's really interesting. I honestly think that Micah's very close. However, what I will say is I get to watch Micah every play on the All 22 and evaluate it very closely. I was 12 years old watching Reggie White
Right.
and trying to evaluate that. So I don't think it's a fair apples to apples comparison. I would love if I had access to all 22 to go back and watch Reggie White and see the difference. Again, I think you're also talking about a longevity thing here. I also think Micah is, complete prime of his career right now in Green Bay. Reggie was like 30 when he got to Green Bay, which is, still unbelievable player. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's a little bit of a difference there too. Again, either way, we're talking about people in similar stratospheres. If you want to put Reggie ahead, understandable, no question about it. If you want to say Micah's in that category, I'm not certainly going to argue with you, but we're talking about upper stratosphere, elite, talented players that are constantly making an impact. And it's just a joy to watch Micah Parsons down in and down out.
Andy Herman, Pack-A-Day Podcast, joins us here at Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Steve Sparky Fifer with you, joins us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Andy Herman, the last time Devontae Wyatt was out, we had problems stopping the run in Green Bay. Did the Packers? Now he has a fractured ankle based on the reports that we're seeing and is probably done for the season as well. Any concern? How much concern going into this thing? Because now the younger guys are probably going to have to play more of a role here.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. What you always want to avoid are the season enders, right? You're now without Elton Jenkins, Tucker Kraft, and likely Devontae Wyatt for the remainder of the season. Those are three very significant injuries, especially Kraft and especially Wyatt on this team. And as far as defensive tackle goes, the one thing that leaves me somewhat with a positive taste is I do think Warren Brinson is starting to step up. He's playing good football. Yep. Brooks and Wooden have really played a ton of snaps already for them. But I do think the depth gets very much compromised. The one other thing that I think is somewhat of a positive that could help, but we don't know where he's at right now, is LVN. If they can get LVN to come back and play some of those, interior downs on obvious passing downs, that can help mitigate this loss as well. The other thing I'll just say is yesterday against Detroit, they looked like a fantastic football team that was capable of beating just about anyone. That's a tough road game. And, I think, again, performed very well. They lose Devontae Wyatt after this, but as soon as this next game against Chicago, they could get back LVN, Carl Brooks, Quay Walker, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Savion Williams, Nate Hobbs, and maybe at some point, eventually, maybe even a Brenton Cox or a Marshawn Lloyd. While I think Wyatt is a huge loss, if you ask me right now, hey, would you trade Devontae Wyatt for LVN, Carl Brooks, Quay Walker, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Savion Williams, Nate Hobbs, and maybe Brenton Cox and Marshawn Lloyd? I'd say, yes, I'll take that deal all day, every day. So I do think there's a lot of players coming back that are going to help this team in a variety of different ways, but there's no question about it. Losing Wyatt sucks, and guys like Brinson, Stackhouse, Brooks, and Wooden are going to have to step up even more.
We do not acknowledge that running back on this show until he plays a complete game and stays healthy. We don't say his name. We don't acknowledge he's on the roster. So I'll just move past that. Brenton Cox, I would love to see him back. Yes, I'm all in on that, Andy Herman. Let's also talk about this aggressiveness that we saw from Matt LaFleur and this Packers offense. The fourth down thing, it is what it is. Fine. I don't want to harp on that. What I do want to harp on a little bit here, and I said it on post-game show last night, I'm interested to get your thoughts on it. Everybody was excited about, oh, man, finally, here we go. This is going to be like the back half of 23. Now he's going to let him wing it, and we're rolling. And they said it on the broadcast. Brady said it, that coming into this week, they know that they stack the box more than anybody else in the league to play the run. That's how Detroit plays their defense, and that they were going to try and take advantage of that and throw. But realistically, at the end of the day, I really do not think this offense is going to be like this week against the Bears or against probably many other teams the rest of the season. I think in Matt LaFleur's perfect world, they do it how they've been doing it, not the way that they just did it, Andy.
Yeah, I just think where Matt is usually going to come down on this is what is the opposing defense taking away? What are they allowing? Every defense has a weakness and every defense has a strength, right? So against Detroit, where again, they're maybe stacking the box a little bit more, playing more single high safety, you're going to get a lot of opportunities to throw the ball around the yard, and you're going to put it a little bit more in Jordan's hands. And that's the way that they played that game, because that's what Detroit sort of dictated to them. Yep. In other games where they've played a ton of soft zones and kept their two safeties high and are really stretched out both horizontally and vertically, and you've got opportunities to run the football, and teams are saying, hey, we dare you to run the football, Matt's going to look at that and say, we need to be able to run the football. I think where maybe the disconnect is that at some point in time, I get you are looking at some disadvantageous passing situations based on how teams are playing you, but in general, if you can't run the football, even though it looks advantageous, it is maybe a disadvantageous situation to run the football as well. I was buoyed a little bit by the fact that I thought Green Bay was efficient running the football yesterday for the most part. It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but we saw explosives. Yeah, we saw some efficient running. Wilson looked good the week before. If that can get going to that level, it doesn't have to be perfect. Think back to 2010, James Starks and John Kuhn in that running game, not perfect, right? But they got the job done more often than not. And then Aaron was able to kind of take the rest from there. If they can just give that much of a rushing attack from here on out, that's going to be enough of a rushing attack to get Jordan the passing opportunities that he needs. And if Jordan can play like he did yesterday, they can certainly beat anybody.
Since you brought up John Kuhn, and you can hear weekdays 9 to noon with John Kuhn from obviously 9 a.m. to noon, he put on his Twitter account yesterday that he thought that the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC right now. I'm not there. We'll talk more about it at 3:00. I'm not there with John Kuhn on this one. Where are you?
Yeah, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL, much less the NFC. I think it's a stacked NFC. I think Philly has flaws. We're seeing that right now. Bears currently up 7-0 in this game.
I know. Charlie was doing a shimmy shake over there when they scored. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hands go up, and he's like shimmy shaking and smiling. And I figured that happened, Andy Herman. I figured that. Yes, but
so
go ahead.
I do know that obviously Philly beat Green Bay in Green Bay. If people want to argue or Philly's better, that's fine too. But to me, the Rams are fantastic. I think the NFC is really good. I think Seattle's tough. I think San Fran is tough. I think Chicago, Detroit are tough. I think it's a really tough NFC right now. But I would probably lean towards the Rams being one, and then you get into a conversation of Philly and probably Green Bay after that.
He is Andy Herman. He's awesome. Pack-A-Day Podcast. Check it out. Follow him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Andy Herman NFL. What's the plans for the rest of the day? Are you going shopping or what are you doing?
Kiddos got soccer practice. We got some friends coming over later. I'm going to do some grading tonight, do the podcast for tomorrow, and then we've got a big huge soccer tournament tomorrow.
No, you don't.
With like 7 games tomorrow. So
is that going to happen? Are you guys north of the storm that's coming in?
We're supposed to get like 1 to 3, maybe 3 to 4.
Fine.
I think we're going to be okay. But I see what you guys are supposed to get. It might be a little bit. And if it shifts a little bit, then maybe we will not.
Yeah, we're at around 10 inches, it looks like right now. But again, Duluth Superior earlier this week was forecasting like somewhere around 19 inches. So I still feel fortunate that I'm not in Duluth Superior getting hammered like they did earlier in the week. But it's still going to suck either way. Andy Herman, thank you so much, buddy. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, you as well. Appreciate you.
Take care. There he is, Andy Herman. Pack-A-Day Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Joined us on the guest hotline, powered by Gilbert Law. One call. That is all still to come. The Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, will join us coming up 1 hour from right now. Well, less than an hour, I guess. At 3:20, we'll talk with the Gravedigger, Packer Hall of Famer, about his thoughts on the Packers-Lions game yesterday. So, Charlie, before we go to a break, what happened that they got a touchdown?
Bears just drove downfield methodically, and then a DeAndre Swift 3-yard touchdown run. But right now, the Eagles are driving downfield a little bit, had a long play action pass, sitting at about the 25-yard line as we speak.
You and I were talking about this off the air. This is a low-scoring game. I feel like that's advantage Chicago. If this attempts to get into a shootout, I like Philly because then it's going to open it up, and I'm guessing Saquon is going to have some plays.
That's what it seems like, but the Bears have been able to bottle him up so far throughout the first quarter.
Everybody's been able to bottle him up recently.
He hasn't looked that great against the Bears' run defense, which is probably the worst part of their team. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes for the rest of the game.
What is going on with that Eagles line, man? That is something else. Charlie using over there, Steve Sparky, Fifer over here. Hey, if you're looking to go to a Bucks home game at Fiserv Forum, I'll tell you how you get there. Instead of paying all those ridiculously high prices by going downtown Milwaukee, go to Potawatomi Casino Hotel, park your car there. Then you could take one of their game day shuttles to the Bucks game. You get a ride there, leaves an hour and 15 minutes before. That's when the shuttles start leaving. And then they start returning starting in the third quarter. So obviously after the game is over. Now, how do you get on that shuttle? Well, you can make a same day wager at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You make the bet, ask for a wristband or whatever that they give you for the shuttle, and you're good to go. Or make a purchase inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook, a beer, whatever the case may be, and ask for your wristband, and they'll give it to you, and then you can hop on the shuttle that way as well. It is the way to go. For more information about the Potawatomi game day shuttles, all you have to do is go to Potawatomi.com. Botched moment of the day. It involves the Packer game, obviously. Coming up next, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
It's time for the botched moment of the day. Bad call, dropped pass, horrible coaching. Did someone say the wrong thing? Let's get to it on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, let's get to it. Botch moment of the day as we broadcast live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This was a great play, but something unfortunate happened.
Third and goal. Pressure. In trouble. And dropped. It's Micah Parsons again. My goodness.
My goodness is right. Micah Parsons, a beast in that game yesterday. 2.5 sacks and a 31-24 Packers win in that one. See Sparky Fifer with you, Charlie, using over there. Highlight courtesy of Fox. Unfortunately, on that same play, Devontae Wyatt went down with another injury. Here's a clue. If you see 2 commercial breaks play through and he's still on the ground, probably means the season is over for said player. If a card comes out and they can't get him on the card for 2 commercial breaks, probably means the season is over for that player. And it sucks because as you're watching it, you're thinking to myself, oh my goodness, how are they going to stop the run now? We already been through this once, man. Come on, man, get up. And he didn't get up. And now reports, I think it was Ian Rappaport and amongst others, all talking about fractured ankle, apparently, for Devontae Wyatt, which would put him done for the rest of the year. No official email, I don't believe, yet from the Green Bay Packers, Charlie.
No, nothing official yet. That was Adam Schefter that came out and reported that, though, there. Looking at the rest of the schedule for the Green Bay Packers, you have the Chicago Bears, who are currently running the ball well against the Philadelphia Eagles. You have the Baltimore Ravens, who can't do anything passing the ball, so it's going to be Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson on the ground. You got the Bears again. Then you got Denver, who's going to has been running the ball really well all season with RJ Harvey, the rookie over there. And then the Vikings, who could potentially be starting a rookie quarterback that can't throw the ball at all and will be running the ball as well. You're going to be facing a lot of teams that are going to try to take advantage of you not having Devontae Wyatt on the field. And you're going to have to rely on an undrafted rookie and Nazir Stackhouse. You're going to have to rely on a lot of young players around him. The Warren Brinson's kind of coming back and helping out a little bit to do their jobs while he's out.
I was right. It was Ian Rappaport. Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. I'm looking at the tweet right now because I quote tweeted it for our guest lineup earlier today. I was like, man, I'm losing my damn mind. So either way, it doesn't matter who broke it. At the end of the day, with him out, that's a problem. Matt LaFleur talking about the Devontae Wyatt injury after the game.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, guys. I'm sick for him. I'm sick for us. I mean, that's a critical loss for our football team, for our defense, obviously. And I can't say enough great things about him in terms of just watching him mature, not only as a football player, as a person. I've got a lot of love for Devontae Wyatt, and I think the whole locker room does too. So it's a little bittersweet, I would say, in regards to, yeah, we're happy about the win, but at the same time, we're sick about what happened to him.
And as Andy Herman brought up in the last segment from the Pack a Day podcast when he joined us, now you talk about a Brinson who has had some splash plays here in the last couple of weeks. Maybe Nazir Stackhouse finally does something. He's out there. He's taking up a guy or two, but he really hasn't had any big moments yet. Maybe Stackhouse now finally gets a couple of moments. Maybe you can get Brooks and Wooden and those guys healthy in the middle. The only problem is a guy like Brooks, he's undersized to begin with. So that leads you to wanting more when you're talking about getting to the running back. Now, as far as pass rush, yeah, Brooks will get back to the quarterback every now and again. I'm fine with Brooks in that aspect. But we're talking about stopping the run. Like, for instance, Philadelphia's playing right now, right? We're talking about stopping Saquon Barkley in an NFC championship game. That is going to be something you're going to have to deal with for sure going into that game. Or if you get Gibbs in the playoffs and you have to play the Lions for whatever the reason, you're going to need a big guy in the middle there too. And Andy Herman brought up Lucas Van Ness and him possibly helping from that aspect. Again, I'm not on the Van Ness train. I'm just not. I'm not saying he can't help, but I don't know if that's really an answer either at this point, Charlie.
Do you think a potential answer could be getting a guy like Isaiah McDuffie into games more, where he's just always going to be in the right hole? He's but he's still a bigger body than like an Edgerrin Cooper.
I'd rather have Hopper in there to go hit
maybe
somebody.
That then too.
Yeah.
Just somebody else who's a bigger body that knows just to stay in their hole. Yeah, they're not going to make all the athletic freak plays that a Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper are, but rotating those guys in that are always going to consistently be in the spot that they need to be in is really going to be beneficial to this Packers defense. I think when you lose a Devontae Wyatt like this, that's a guy who is consistently that front force that helps out the other defensive linemen get to their homes in certain plays. This is a spot where I think a guy like Isaiah McDuffie is somebody who can take a step back and not be the star of this team and do his job and take up a couple holes and help the defensive linemen still get home.
I am shocked by the Pro Football Focus grade that McDuffie got, because watching it, at one point I was like, I don't know, man, maybe they need to switch Hopper over into that position. He's having some issues. And then you see the Pro Football Focus grades that Jacob Morley tweeted out. Isaiah McDuffie an 87. That qualifies as high quality or elite at that point. Micah Parsons an 82.9, Edgerrin Cooper 73.6, Javon Bullard 71.2, and there's Tyron Hopper 70.9, fifth highest rated guy there. Hopper, the forgotten man, a draft pick of the Green Bay Packers, hasn't been able to find his way onto the football field to this point, and the only way he's getting onto the field is in place of Isaiah McDuffie once Quay Walker comes back.
But again, it's in this role of going out there and just doing his job. And if he can continue to go out there and do his job, that's the type of guy that can be a late bloomer later on in his career. Zach Bond was a guy who went out there talking about the Eagles and just did his job for 5 seasons until he was put into that number 1 linebacker role and was able to flourish because he just knew what to do at the base level. This is a great opportunity for Tyron Hopper to make a name for himself, but also learn on the fly and do what some of these other linebackers have done across the league to make a name for himself.
See, and the other part about this too is how Jeff Hafley calls a defense based on not having certain guys on the field, right? So if Devontae Wyatt's not out there, now you probably have to play the run a little bit differently than you would have had he been out there. Maybe you feel comfortable with 4 because Wyatt's going to grab somebody running by him. They'll be all right. Now, maybe you got to stack the box a little bit more to make sure you don't get gashed in the run game.
You might have to press a little bit on the corners, which is something that I know they're probably going to be a little bit afraid of doing just because the cornerback room is so light. Right now, this is a situation where you kind of have to take chances. You've seen in games against teams like the Detroit Lions that you can go out there and be one of the best teams in football because of your pass rush. You got to trust your pass rush and make sure your corners that you trust them to do their jobs as well.
I said earlier that Duluth Superior area, I saw winter storm warning like 19 inches or whatever else. Got a text here on the Nicolay Law talk and text line from the 808. We got 2 feet just south of Superior on Wednesday.
That is too much for me. I pass.
I don't think I've ever seen 2 feet of snow in a snowstorm.
Would you be able to see over the snow?
I think 14 inches, maybe 13, 14 inches I've seen and shoveled. But I don't think in my life I've ever seen 2 feet.
I don't think so either. That'd be kind of fun at the same time as it would be not fun. But
yeah, good luck with all that. And my snowblower took that in to get repaired, so I'm not going to have that for our storm coming up here in southeastern Wisconsin. Coming up next, the Packers have swept the Lions. Who still scares you in the NFC? We'll talk about that next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Sparky and Charlie with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again to broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Network. Sports book, Potawatomi Sports book, yeah. The Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, joins us coming up here in about 18 minutes. Packers Hall of Famer. You can see his pretty face coming up on X and on YouTube as well at WI Sports Radio. You can follow us there on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you are on social media, including the website. That's the name of our website as well, wisportsradio.com. So looking forward to talking to Gilbert Brown. Charlie, sounds of the day. Normally on a Friday, he's pretty cool with me. We're good. I don't know what that Bear score is going to look like by the time we get to the segment. So if things go sideways in that Bears game, it could get a little dicey for me. If the Bears are winning, I feel like he'll be nicer. So we'll see how this plays at 340. Looking forward to that. I said before the break, I did not remember ever seeing 2 feet of snow one way or the other. Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250. Brad texted and says, we got 16 inches of snow in Oak Creek in 2008. I think I might have been living in Oak Creek in 2008, but I don't remember
7,
if I was.
So I probably was having fun with it.
I don't remember if I was living there or not. But anyways, 16 inches in Oak Creek in 2008. We opened the door, saw a 4-foot snowdrift at our door, and my girlfriend, now wife, immediately went online and booked a trip to Mexico.
Understandable. I get that. I don't blame her at all. I'd rather be in Mexico too if there was 4 feet of snow outside my door.
4-foot snowdrift. Woo! Hey, might have some of that today or coming up tomorrow in southeastern Wisconsin. So thanks for listening on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, WNFL in Green Bay, Appleton area, 99.7. The game in Wausau, the game in Duluth and Superior, and of course the Fan in Milwaukee. So the Packers are rolling, right? All that, they may miss the playoffs. Oh, Jordan Love sucks. Start Malik Willis. Oh, Matt LaFleur is horrible. Just fire him and let somebody else be the coach. Let Halfley be the coach. All that stuff, I think, thankfully, is behind us for the time being after a 31-24 win for the Packers over the Lions yesterday, which is a beautiful thing, obviously. But now that the Packers have swept the Lions on the season, 3-0 in the division, by the way, after only winning 1 game last year, undefeated in the division. We're getting back to like how the old Packers used to play. Who still scares you in the NFC? Who is it? John Kuhn said Packers best team. That's what he said on his Twitter account. So that's where he's at. Now, he'll be back on Monday, 9 to noon with Kuhn, with Rami Makloff and himself. And I can't wait to hear how that whole thing plays out. I'm not there, man. Like, I look at this, I'm going, okay, until you beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia, until that happens, I can't get down with you're better than Philadelphia. Like, sorry, I'm not there until I see with my own 2 eyes. I can't let myself go there. Now, the other teams, that's a conversation piece. Nicolay Law Talk text line, you need to tell me if anybody still scares you in the NFC. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio. You can comment on X or on YouTube if you're watching the live stream. But Philadelphia, for sure, is still that team. Now, Chris Jackie, former Packers kicker, was on social media earlier today and said Packer fans should be rooting for the Chicago Bears in this game to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. What's the score in that game? 10-3 Bears?
10-3 currently.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jackie said you should be rooting for the Bears in this game, as painful as it is to be, because they bring the Eagles back to you with another loss. You still control your destiny for the top seed or one of the top seeds by knocking off the Bears after that 2 more times. And it helps bring Philadelphia back to the pack, which, okay, makes all the sense in the world. I'm not rooting for the Bears. I don't care what the logic is or what the reasoning is, whether it's good logic or bad logic. I'm not rooting for the Chicago Bears. But the Rams are playing really well. This is my thing on the Rams. Stafford's old. Devontae's not as young as he used to be. Does age eventually and injury eventually catch up with one of these two? Because legitimately, if either one goes down, that takes the Rams back, in my opinion. Like, they're not winning a Super Bowl without Devontae Adams. You can tell me all you want about Puka Nacua. They aren't winning without Devontae. It's not happening. And obviously, if the quarterback gets hurt, just like everywhere else in the National Football League, you're not winning a Super Bowl either at that point. But as of right now, they're healthy. So the Rams probably have to be in that conversation, too, when we start talking about who's in front of Green Bay. I am not. Let me repeat this. I am not putting the Seahawks in front of the Green Bay Packers with Sam Darnold at quarterback. I am not going to do it. No, I am not. He just threw 3 or 4 picks the other day. I am not putting Sam Darnold in front of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. So if you want to come at me with Philly and the Rams, we're going to agree. If you got other teams, we may disagree, but I'm willing to hear you out. Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250. Got one here from the 262. Right now, it's the Rams and everybody else in the NFC. So 262 thinks there's a gap between the Rams and the rest of the NFC, and he put the rest, in the NFC. Charlie, what say you?
I would say the Rams are at the top of that list right now. I think that's the team I'm most worried about. Their offense just looks electric. And I think if they can get even a little bit of a jump on the Packers defense, I don't know if I 100% trust the Packers offense right now to match that in every single game that we've seen. So that they worry me a little bit. This whole idea of you don't think the Packers or you're not putting the Packers over the Eagles until they go and beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. Does that go for every team? Because if the Bears go and beat the Eagles in Philadelphia right now, that makes them pretty scary. And to Chris Jackie talking about, oh, yeah, we got to cheer on the Bears right now. If they go and beat the Eagles, what makes you think that the Packers are just easily going to win 2 games against them in the next 3 weeks?
They don't have to win 2. They just have to win 1 each.
Still, though, but he was saying both games. He said, you got to go and win that. Like, that's crazy to think that that's the case if they can go out here and beat the team as the defending Super Bowl champ.
Do not respect them right now. And you and I talked about this before the game started. And my thought was, look, if the Bears get whooped by the Eagles, then the entire league is going to be like, see, told you they were fake. And then the Bears are going to have to fight for respect still the rest of the year. If the Bears hang in there tough with the Eagles and lose, that will prove some credibility to everybody. Okay, they're not bad. They're not as bad as everybody made them out to be. Like, they're legit. They hung in there. They didn't beat them, but they hung. They were there. So that would be positive for Bears fans. If the Bears put a hurting on the Eagles, then you plant your flag and go, y'all better wake up and understand you're going to have to deal with us, and it's going to go through us right now, and we're not a bunch of pushovers like everybody's saying because of how our schedule played out and the wins that they got through that schedule. It's a big game from a credibility standpoint around the league for the Chicago Bears in this one. I agree. If they beat the Eagles, then yes, I think then the Bears get put in that conversation. Packer fans won't put them there until they see what happens next weekend. But if, the Packers go lose to the Bears, then obviously, the Bears are going to be something to be talked about.
You don't think the Packers fans will? Do you think the Packers are going to go into that game with the same kind of intensity that they go into these Lions games with for the Chicago Bears? Because the end of the season last year, I know they were dealing with some injuries. I know they were definitely burnt out by the end of the season, but the Bears got one over on them. This is a game where it's not getting one over. This is a team that is a real for deal football team right now, and you can't let them get any kind of jump. Do you think the Packers have that type of energy right now for the Chicago Bears?
That's what happens in this game. You're watching, they're watching. Most of them are probably watching this game.
Icing up, sitting on their couch.
Right, chilling, having a beverage or two, right? And maybe some turkey, and just watching and seeing what they see. Probably texting with their guys. Hey, did you see that? That guy's tipping off on this, whatever. They're watching. They may be watching in a group at somebody's house, having a little post-Thanksgiving dinner since they played yesterday. Who knows? So they're definitely watching. Again, Bears win. Yeah, they'll get the Packers' attention for sure. But the other thing is, it's Bear-Packer week, the big rivalry. Now, how many people in that locker room like Micah Parsons gets into that? I have no idea. But back in the day, it didn't matter what the damn record was. You got up because you did not want to deal with having to hear in Green Bay that you lost to the Bears. Because fans in Green Bay, that's all. Hey, you beat the damn Bears. That's it, right? And lately it's been the Lions too, but mainly it's always been the Bears. 414 on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Finally, after the Bears beat Philly, the Packers can prove themselves by beating a hot team and getting to first in the North. That's the game, and not the Lions, that really proves something from the 414. I love whoever you are. but I don't think a majority agree with you.
No, I don't think a lot of people would be on the same page. Frankly, I don't think this texter would look at the beginning of the season himself and say the same thing. There's no shot going into the year that you thought the Bears would be this hot late in the season.
No, you thought they'd be a third place team around 8 or 9 wins. Yeah. That's where I had them, right around 8 or 9 wins. A little bit of an improvement for that team. Yeah, absolutely right. You take a step with Ben Johnson, and then next year is when you take the big step with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. 414, Justin in Germantown says, the team that scares me in the NFC is the Rams. Sean McVay has that team playing out of their mind. Matt Stafford is playing at an MVP level, and they also have Nakua, Devontae Adams, Kyren Williams, etc. That offense is potent. From Justin in Germantown. The Kyren Williams thing is another thing, right? So if you get the Packers and there is no Devontae Wyatt, will Sean McVay neuter Matt Stafford and try and run it down their throat? My guess is no chance. He will not be as disciplined as Matt LaFleur trying to run the football. He won't be, because it's boring, and he's going to get bored as a play caller. He's going to want to air it out and show everybody what he's got there, what all the toys that he's got to play with. I don't think McVay can be disciplined enough to do that. Like when the Niners steamrolled the Packers years ago with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, I think it was Raheem Mostert at running back, had like over 200 yards rushing. That was them just going running play after running play after running play. And they didn't care if they threw the ball 10 times in the game. They knew they couldn't stop them, so they just kept doing it. I don't think Sean McVay has the discipline to do that for an entire 4 quarters of a game. When you had Stafford and Puka Nakua and Matthew Stafford and Devontae and those guys, no chance.
But he's not Dan Campbell. He's a much better play caller, and he knows his offense a lot better than Dan Campbell. So if he is going to be aggressive and he is going to throw the ball, he's going to make a lot more smart decisions than I think you see in a team like Detroit right now.
Yeah.
This is a situation where I think the level you're seeing play at the cornerback level at right now, I think this is a situation where if you allow Sean McVay to go out there and be Sean McVay and force him or let him throw the ball on you that much, it could be a problem for the Green Bay Packers. I think you have to go into this game and do your best to force him to run the ball and say, you know what, we don't care that Devontae Wyatt isn't in this game. We can still stop you that way and kind of taunt them, reverse psychology them into running the ball against you.
Yeah, no question about that. I got one here from the, the 414, right, Sparky? Back in the day, if we were only to have 2 wins, they better have come against the Bears. That is exactly how it was, especially back in the 80s and stuff. It definitely had to come against the Chicago Bears because those 2 teams hate each other. Ditka and Greg, the 2 head coaches, hated each other. The teams hated each other. There were cheap shots and late hits and penalties and everything else throughout the deal. Speaking of which, remember Charles Martin picked up and slammed Jim McMahon after the play and had the towel with his hit list. I still don't know how he was going to get Willie Gold, but had the hit list and the whole thing on it. Did you see that they came out with a documentary on the Super Bowl shuffle that was out this week?
I did not see that.
I started watching it this morning. I recorded it. I forgot that they were 12-0 that year in 85. And they were going to Miami to the Orange Bowl to play the Dolphins. Got whooped. They got owned, right? And the very next day, they were to record the Super Bowl shuffle. And they were all like, how the hell do we get out of this? Like, we're going to go record the Super Bowl shuffle after that just happened? And then they're all standing around. And it's like, we better win the damn Super Bowl. Like, if we're going to record this, we all better understand we better not lose, or we're going to be the laughingstock and biggest idiots in the world if we don't finish this recording this song right now.
So you're saying the Packers just have to make their own Super Bowl shuffle and then they're winning the Super Bowl?
They don't have the personalities.
That's how that works.
They don't have the personalities on this team. I mean, in general, most NFL teams don't have the personalities of the 85 Bears.
No, not
There's
anymore.
So many guys on that team, man.
Well, and I feel like nowadays it's not really about teams. People still look for the stars to be the personality. So it's like 1 to 2 guys per team that are that big personality.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, coming up next, the Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, Packers Hall of Famer, will join us. And again, he'll be joining us on X and YouTube as well. WI Sports Radio, if you want to watch along. When the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate frosty classic. No purchase necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after a win, so act fast. Get that free small frosty classic at Wendy's. Bucks and Knicks tonight. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Gravedigger, next.
Packers send the blitz. Picked up. Goff on the move. Jamison drops it. Maybe a little behind. Couldn't make the play. And another turnover on downs.
That was really a big difference. Fourth down conversions for the Packers versus lack of fourth down conversions for the Lions. Highly courtesy of Fox. See Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie using as well. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. That ball was behind Jamison Williams. It definitely was. He should have caught it, though. Hit him both hands. And Jared Goff was like, oh, if I would have thrown that ball better. Yeah, maybe. But you could see Jamison Williams also mad at himself for dropping the ball. Like, he should have had it. He probably scores if he has it. And if you go back earlier in that game, Bo Melton was open down the right sideline when Jordan Love was running around for his life, and he threw the ball in the dirt at his feet. If he hits him in stride, he probably scores, Charlie.
Probably. And I think the Williams one, you definitely have a higher chance of scoring just because Bo Melton, so far this season, when he has been on offense, you can see he hasn't gotten into that rhythm yet. So I don't know.
He catches that ball. Good luck.
He does. But, man, you got to see him catch a ball. And when Jordan Love isn't even giving him the opportunity to do that, it's a little frustrating. At the same time, the rest of the game, the Packers took advantage of mistakes. Again, we saw another really clean game from this team, a really well-coached game from this team. And the Lions on the other side were the ones just consistently making mistakes because they were so flustered by the Packers not making those mistakes.
Charlie using over there, Steve Sparky Fifer here, awaiting the arrival of the gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, the Packers Hall of Famer. Follow him on Twitter at Gilbert Brown. I had a text message come in that I wanted to get to and talk about here. This one is from the 608. Sparky and Chuck, you all never mentioned the Rams defense. Top 8, if not top 5, low T in Pewaukee. Well, low T, I went and I looked in the commercial break. Mm-hmm. And you are right. They're like 8th, 9th in the NFC.
According to Pro Football Focus, they're the number 1 defense in the entire NFL.
Okay. Well, I'm going based on numbers versus what they say. And if we go by numbers and yards allowed and so forth, they're like 8th or 9th. Passing yards allowed, they're like 20th. Rushing yards allowed, they're top 10. Points allowed, they are number 1 in the National Football League at 16.3 points. The Packers are 4th at 18.8. In between them, the Texans are 2, the Broncos are 3, and then the Packers are 4. Now, I think that number is not the most accurate number when you start talking about points allowed, because it doesn't account for, I don't think at least, when your quarterback turns it over and the opposing offense gets a short field, or there's a fumble that happens and you get a short field, and then those points that occur in that time frame. I don't know. I haven't looked to see how many interceptions Stafford has
just about to look
thrown up this year, one way or the other.
Matthew Stafford has 2 interceptions total in the season.
Right, and Love has, 3? So, I mean, that helps when you start talking about these points allowed deals. When both quarterbacks don't turn over the ball, you're not giving short fields to the other team. And now they're having to make, longer drives than, let's say, a quarterback that's turning it over 10, 11, 12 times so far this year. And you can obviously see that as well when you look at the team defensive standings. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes has turned it over double-digit times so far this year. And even with that, Kansas City is still 6th in the National Football League right now in points allowed. Then the Seahawks, then the Eagles. So, again, teams that are going to be up there in competing. The Patriots are right behind the Green Bay Packers. They're the surprise team of the National Football League right now with Drake May as the starting quarterback and doing a great job there. But you're right. The Rams defense gets overlooked sometimes because of how good that offense is. I think you could make the same exact argument for all the years that the Packers had Aaron Rodgers, all the years the Packers had Brett Favre. Nobody ever talked about it. Hell, the year they went and won that first Super Bowl, when they had Favre and Gilbert and Leroy and those guys, that defense was amazing, right? Amazing. But guess what? It was all about the offense, man. They had the number 1 rated offense, the number 1 rated defense, and the number 1 rated special teams. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again in Green Bay. All 3 were ranked number 1 at the end of the season. I'm pretty sure it might be the only time it's happened in NFL history. I'm pretty sure it was the first time it happened when the Green Bay Packers did it that year. And even then, it was still all about Brett Favre and the Packers offense and Keith Jackson and Andre Rison and Desmond Howard to a degree on offense and special teams, even though he wasn't a big factor on offense. But that's what it was about. So it's not slaying the Rams defense, but we just, in general, I think as fans talk about offense before we talk about defense, unless it's a dominant defense with a middle of the road offense, then that will be a little bit different if the offense, isn't all that good at the end of the day. But definitely something to be concerned about. That Frank Ragnow news for the Lions broke last week when we had Lomas Brown on. Well, not last week. I guess it was Wednesday. Wednesday, we had Lomas Brown on, the Lions center, who is coming out of retirement, not soon enough to play in that last game. But having Ragnow back is going to help the Lions offensive line, is going to help the interior communication. The blocking of Frank Ragnow will also help inside. You look back at the beginning of that game, what happened? Micah Parsons and company came right up the middle, exploiting the weakness of the guards and the center position. So Ragnow coming back is a big deal. Then what happens? Then rumblings start happening of, hey, maybe Aaron Donald will come back for the Rams here because we know he's in shape. He'll come back in time for the playoffs, and he'll play for the Rams going into the playoffs. For the love of God, don't let that happen. Please, 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 please. I do not want to have to deal with Aaron Donald against Anthony Belton inside. I do not want to have to deal with Aaron Donald against Sean Ryan inside. That would scare the crap out of me if Aaron Donald decided to come back and play in time for the postseason for the LA Rams. Then I think you really start talking about them being that much ahead of everybody else if he were to come out of retirement.
But the Packers could have options too. Christian Wilkins is sitting out there in free agency to come in and be a defensive tackle replacement potentially for a Devontae Wyatt here. If you feel like you're that threatened by somebody coming back for the Rams, you can match that yourself with a guy who's a former All-Pro.
To a degree. But I think when you're the Green Bay Packers and you are looking at the inside of that offensive line, I don't think it's any secret. The inside of their offensive line is their weak point right now. Rasheed Walker, if we go back and we look at Pro Football Focus, he only allowed one pressure in this last game for the Green Bay Packers. And Walker is a guy that has been not under as much pressure as Jordan Morgan, has kind of not been talked about nearly as much. Rasheed Walker probably hasn't had the best of years either. Pro Football Focus, Rasheed Walker allowed one pressure. Aaron Banks allowed two. Sean Ryan allowed one. Anthony Belton allowed six. Zach Tom allowed one. And you're telling me if Aaron Donald comes back, that ain't going to be a thing? That's going to be a damn thing. I promise you it's going to be a thing. And the Packers not only have to face him, but then if they have to go to L.A., yeah, that becomes a problem.
It does, but also when you look at Jordan Love, how many sacks did he take yesterday? Anthony Belton gave up six pressures.
He credited the offensive line in the locker room after the game. No sacks, baby, and everybody went nuts.
He gave up six pressures, but you didn't see it result in anything minus for the Green Bay Packers in this game.
That's because Jordan Love's damn good.
Well, that helps too, but
that's what it is all about.
We saw multiple times Jordan Morgan be in that same exact position, give up six or so pressures, and it results in a lot of negative plays for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, you can give up pressure a little bit, but it was enough time and enough of a hold on the defense lineman that Jordan Love could make something happen.
Yeah, no question. Other numbers from the Pro Football Focus grades on the offensive side of the ball. Again, Jacob Morley does all this stuff. Packer Report tweets this out every week. On offense, Dontavian Wicks, number one, 91.7, viewed as elite. Then Jordan Love, 91.2. Emmanuel Wilson, who to me didn't have a factor in this game, 79.9. Then Christian Watson, 79.4. And then Zach Tom with a 74 grade. Top 5 offensive performances, according to Pro Football Focus, in that one. On the Dugout YouTube chat, as you were streaming live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio, Q, our guy that loves us so much, is just a funny guy today, isn't he?
He's hilarious. Yeah. He says, Sparky rocking a hat. Didn't know they made them that big. Looking good. He had it looking good there at the end for you.
I will tell you that it is one of those not fitted hats, right? That's why I always wear trucker hats or try to. Because, yes, that is the issue. Because if I don't wear the trucker hat, and if I try to get a fitted hat, normally it is always too tight and gives me headaches on my forehead, and it's awful. Like, if you ever see me wearing a full-on black hat out that's not a trucker hat, I promise you I have a headache if I'm walking around with that thing on.
Q says, is it open in the back?
No. I don't have to go all the way back. I went like 2.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to be at 1 depending on the size. But yeah, it's like 1 or 2 pegs left on the back of it. But fair question, Q.
I will say you're not alone, though, Sparky. I'm going to air my dad out a little bit here, but the hat that I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing it because this hat didn't fit on his head. So you know what? You're not alone. Everybody's got big heads.
That doesn't bother me at all. I mean, we can have the conversation about it. I've had this conversation my entire life. I'm not too worried about that at all at any point. All right, I think Gilbert Brown is entering the conversation. Joining us now on the guest.
Give him 1 second. Looks like it's taking a little while to get set up.
No problem. You want me to take a break?
Yeah,
or
I think we can take a break.
Take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll talk with the Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Elevates off his feet. Not sure he needed to dive for that. This one's where you want a little rack.
But they'll take it. Look out! Off his smoke. Guess who? Micah Parsons.
So good. So good is Micah Parsons. Highlight courtesy of Fox, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Sparky here. Charlie using other side of the glass, doing his thing as we are efforting to get the Packer Hall of Famer Gilbert Brown on the line, the grave digger. Follow him on Twitter and X at Gilbert Brown. He joins us now on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Thanks for coming on, Gilbert. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How you doing today?
Well, this is one thing I remember from the playing days of one Gilbert Brown. Back in the day, if memory serves correct, every time you all went to Detroit, everybody went by your mama's house for Thanksgiving dinner. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's kind of right. I don't like the way you say your mama. Don't make me come to this phone, man.
Sorry, your mother's house there. Is that better? Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so Gilbert Brown, before we get into Packer talk, what's your favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal?
Oh man, everybody. I mean, I'm just a meat and potatoes type of a guy, so I'm gonna say the turkey.
Really?
I'm gonna say the turkey.
All right. I can down turkey. Yeah. I like the turkey too. I'm down with turkey. I'm fine with that. Gilbert, your thoughts on yesterday? We were talking about Micah Parsons earlier, and some of the youngins are starting to ask the questions that didn't get to see Reggie White play. Like, how close is he to Reggie White type level for those that got to watch Reggie White play? Since you got to play with Reggie White, I figured you'd be a perfect person to ask.
Yeah, but I'm kind of biased. There's nobody on Reggie's level. Nobody. I mean, Micah Parsons is very good, but I want to see Micah Parsons in year 13 or year 12 and see how good he is then. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no comparison right now. You know, I mean, he got 11, 12 sacks. Reggie did that, been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? But he was doing that also in year 12, year 13, or whatever it is. So it's everybody jumps the gun. I'm not jumping the gun yet. Micah Parsons is one hell of a player. Yes, he is. But is he Reggie White status? Not yet.
The one thing about Micah Parsons, when they made that deal for him, 2 1s and Kenny Clark, was, okay, that's great. But now what happens to the interior of this defensive line without Kenny Clark and stopping the run and all of that? And when Devontae Wyatt has played, that has helped. But now with Devontae Wyatt apparently out with a fractured ankle the rest of the year, how concerned are you about this Packers run defense?
You know, I was going to put all my things in the basket, all my stuff in the basket because of that kid Jahmyr Gibbs and that Detroit offensive line. Because remember, a year ago in Lambeau Field, that offensive line whooped our tail in Lambeau Field a year ago.
Yep.
And we came back and got them at home. You understand what I'm saying? Now this year, that's what I was predicating it on. How good are we against that offensive line and against that running attack? And let me tell you, they passed. They passed. I'm not gonna say that I'm sold, but I ain't scared no more.
No,
no more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And we had Lomas Brown on Wednesday. Lomas Brown,
that's my man.
Yeah, I love
that's
Lomas.
My man. Yeah.
So when we had Lomas Brown on, he did not hear, because it happened literally in the commercial break while he was waiting to come on, about Frank Ragnow coming back, the center for the Detroit Lions, out of retirement. And you would have thought I gave him the best Christmas present in the whole wide world when I told him. His eyes bugged out of his head. He was so excited that he was coming back. But having said that, with what they're able to do there in the middle of that line, the middle of this line, if they have to deal with Saquon Barkley again, or if they have to deal with Kyron Williams with the Rams, who also have Puka Nacua and Devontae and Stafford and all of that, that's where I wonder whether or not Jeff Hafley will maybe tend to lean towards a little bit more in the box, trying to stop the run, versus as much worrying about the pass, which is how the Lions essentially have played their defense all year.
Well, you said it right there, Sparky. What if they got to see Saquon Barkley again? What did he do the first time?
Not much.
Thank you. What did Jahmyr Gibbs? What did he do the first and second time?
Yeah, not as much as he's done everybody else.
That he's been doing to everybody else.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And you got to remember, did we have number 7 yesterday?
No, Quay Walker. Nope.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You take it away from my defense, man. I don't like that.
Well, that's where the injury is.
You got to give them boys credit, man. Defense win championships. Offensive boys get all the girls and the pretty stuff.
I was talking about that earlier, that you guys go win a Super Bowl. You're number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, number 1 in special teams, and everybody's talking about Brett Favre in the offense. Y'all got ignored.
Man.
Y'all got ignored, man. And that's the thing. Like, we were talking about the Rams earlier, and guy texted, he's like, you keep talking about this offense. Look at the Rams defense, and they're number 1 in points allowed so far this year, which obviously is a good thing. I'll tell you a guy that had a game yesterday that's had games last year, and again yesterday, Evan Williams coming down and playing in the box and stuffing them. That was a hell of a performance from Evan Williams.
You know, it's kind of like everybody talking about Micah and everybody talking about Rashawn Gary and all those guys. We got some unsung heroes that are pretty damn good. And that's kind of like how our defensive was. When you sit down there, you talk about Reggie White and you're talking about Leroy Butler, but then you got guys, unmentioned guys like Brian Williams and Craig Newsome and them type of guys that's doing. That's the thing, man. Stay under the radar until it's time. Stay under the radar until it's time.
I think that's a fair point for sure. On the offensive side of the ball, the Packers had some struggles with former first-round pick Jordan Morgan at right guard, Gilbert Brown. So they make the move to get beefier with Anthony Belton coming in at right guard. And I think that it probably helped their run game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about what I like about what's the dude name?
Gutekunst.
Yeah, that dude.
Goody.
That dude there. Yeah. And that they place guys in situations to where, okay, if this guy goes out, we're gonna plug this guy in and we don't miss a beat. That's what you got to put together. Even though you got to get your starters out there, your second string got to be they got to be damn good or starting on somebody else's team. Just like our quarterback situation. You know what I'm saying? When he goes out and old boy come in, we don't miss a beat. You see what I'm saying? That is a Super Bowl type caliber team that's ready to play.
I agree with you.
Missing nothing.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And they lost a big piece of the offense as well in Tucker Kraft. And the question was, like, who's going to be that guy that's going to take that spot in that offense? Well, clearly, Christian Watson is more than ready to take advantage of that situation. But Dontavian Wicks, for the first time this year, showed up big time in that game yesterday. And this is a guy that struggled with drop balls last year and did not struggle with it yesterday.
And here's the thing that the fans don't understand, Sparky. That stadium yesterday was nuts. You couldn't hear anything if you had on the G on the side of your head. And people don't understand the type of situation that you are in coming into a hostile environment like that and go in and win the game. My hat's off to these Green Bay Packers, man, because that lets me know that they're ready for adversity. They are ready for it. They can handle it.
Yeah, I think they've been through it. I mean, at least here locally, there's been a lot of talk about questioning if Jordan Love's worth the money, people wanting Matt LaFleur fired, people say Matt LaFleur doesn't trust Jordan Love and doesn't let him air it out. Well, he aired it out yesterday, and they went for it repeatedly on fourth down, and Dan Campbell yesterday.
So did, which surprised me. Yeah, I do think that LaFleur is a lot of pretty. He got a lot of pretty in him. But at the end of the day, he going to get the job done because he believe in them and they believe in him. They ain't listening to all the outside chatter. You can't listen to that because you got to take care in-house. Let everybody else run around and run their mouth. You got to take care in-house in order for it to go.
Gilbert, I have one last thing for you. Where would you rank the Packers in the NFC right now?
You talking about what they record or the way I would rank them?
How you would rank them?
Number 2.
Behind?
I'm not saying.
Not saying.
I'm going to keep them at number 2.
Everybody's got the Rams at 1 right now, except John Kuhn, who does his show 9 to noon on this station. He's got the Packers as number 1.
Another pretty boy, too. You can't listen to them pretty boys, man.
Kuhn's got him as the best team in the NFC.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. You know what? Before we go, Sparky, and you know how you do your stuff. Around by my house, there is no more kitty litter in the stores. Did you know that?
You have a cat?
No, I bought all the kitty litter so I can give it to all these Lions fans because they pissing down their legs. Meow.
Oh my goodness, you're amazing. That was good. You set me up. I was bought in, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, wait, you got a cat? What's going on here? I don't understand. That's good. That was good. Very nicely played. Hey, also on the way out, I want to make sure we promote your beer from Torzala Brewing Company. You got the Killer Kolsch and the Barrel Aged Stout, huh?
Wait. You didn't hear I got me some bourbon too.
Oh, last time we talked, you said it was in the process of coming out.
Well, Jay Henry got it pouring. It's that grave digger bourbon.
Grave digger bourbon, huh?
Jay Henry, grave digger bourbon. The first batch is sold out at Badger Liquor.
Really?
We're working on the second batch right now. So if you a bourbon drinker and I got the whole hookup, Sparky. I just thought about that. You pour you a glass of bourbon and a little shot of that Killer Kolsch. Oh my God.
You're good to go.
That's all putting you in the grave.
Grave digger Gilbert Brown, Packers Hall of Famer. Follow him on Twitter at Gilbert Brown. I appreciate you coming on, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Hey, Thanksgiving, my brother.
Happy Thanksgiving, Gilbert. There he is, Gilbert Brown, one of my favorites for sure. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. And we'll call that the Green and Gold update as well. Brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That is where you are going to want to take advantage of their shuttles to and from Milwaukee Bucks games. Yes, indeed. All you have to do is drive your little self down there to the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, park a car. Then, in order to get on the shuttle, you have to make a same-day game wager at the Potawatomi Sportsbook or make a purchase inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen is amazing, right? You got 48 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, homemade pastries and desserts every day on site. Plus, you got the all-day brunch, you got appetizers, all kinds of different entrees, burgers, wraps, salads, the John Kuhn platter, wings. They got everything you could possibly want. So get something there. Ask for the bracelet once you make the wager or get your purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen. They'll give you the bracelet and you can get on the shuttle. Shuttles leave 1 hour and 15 minutes before every game, and then they start coming back at about the start of the third quarter. For more information on those game day shuttles to Bucks games at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, simply go to Potawatomi.com. Gilbert Brown got me on the kitty litter thing, man.
That was pretty good.
Did you see that one coming?
I did not see that one. I kind of had a feeling it would have to do with the Lions to some degree. Who do you think his number 1 was? If you had to guess. Like
Philly.
You think it's Philly? That's why he wouldn't say? I think he thinks it's the Bears, and that's why he wouldn't say.
Zero chance.
You don't think so?
Zero
Come on, you don't think it's
chance.
He doesn't want to put that energy out there saying that the Bears are better than the Packers?
Maybe he thinks it's the Cowboys.
That'd be kind of crazy. I don't know about that.
You say what you want. Jerry Jones feeling himself right now. Jerry Jones is feeling himself right now. After all the crap he took about making that trade and then everything he said about Micah Parsons, now to fast forward since the trade deadline and see how these guys are playing and how they've looked in their last 2 games. Offense is clicking along, even with some drops, but the offense is going. Defense greatly improved at this point. Cowboys, they're going to be a team to deal with in the playoffs if they get to the playoffs, and I think they're going to get to the playoffs. I haven't looked at the remaining schedule, but I got a feeling they're going to be there.
I mean, if the Bears can come out here and upset Philadelphia, they're hot at the right time, Dallas is, and that's a big situation for that team. If you wait till Sounds of the Day in the next segment here, you will hear Jerry Jones talking crazy again about Micah Parsons on his radio show.
Why are we still talking about Micah Parsons for?
Because he just loves talking about Micah Parsons.
No, I don't believe you. Somebody asked him about Micah. It had to have been. He doesn't just start talking about Micah.
They asked him about Quinnen Williams. And it led to a discussion about Micah.
Quinn Williams move. I mean, again, that was the right move. When you blast Jerry Jones for making a dumb deal, you also have to give Jerry Jones credit when it works of what he's doing. I mean, he picked up 2 1s and a good player in Kenny Clark and still might be in the playoffs at the end of this with all that capital with a really good defensive player. Did you see Quinn Williams' numbers since joining Dallas versus was with the Jets?
He's awesome.
Dude, he was dogging it with the Jets. When Sauce Gardner got traded to the Colts, everybody's like, Sauce Gardner, he ain't the same Sauce Gardner anymore. And what I say, man, that whole team already quit on them. There's no way those guys are even playing hard. The Quinn Williams numbers, that just shouts it out even more that those dudes over there in New York had given up on that team.
Well, and just wait till he gets mad at Dallas too, like everybody else does that's ever played for Dallas besides like Dak Prescott, it feels like at this point. So
we'll see. I'll tell you one thing, CeeDee Lamb, happy camper.
Mm-hmm.
Happy camper.
George Pickens is looking pretty happy right now, too. He's going to get paid.
George Pickens out of Pittsburgh with a real quarterback and Dak Prescott to throw him the football. The other thing is the Dallas Cowboys, depending on where they end up and so forth, if they end up with Love from Notre Dame to go along with the rest of that offense, Cowboys are going to be something else next year if they were able to figure out a way to get Love from Notre Dame.
You already know they're going to draft him.
I love that.
They went and drafted their offensive tackle in the last year's draft in Guyton. They go out and get a running back. That's Jerry Jones' favorite thing to do is draft a first-round running back, it feels like at this point.
Well, I love Love. I'd love Love in Green Bay. I know that's not going to happen. They don't have a first-round pick, but I'm just saying that kid is special at Notre Dame. All right, take a quick time out, come back. Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Straight ahead, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Also still to come, Fantasy Football Friday with Joel Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports at 4:20. We follow the money with Austin Herdini at the Potawatomi Sportsbook coming up at 4:40. Straight ahead, Charlie's Sounds of the Day.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
We are broadcasting live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Charlie over there after a Packers 31-24 win yesterday. Now they get the Chicago Bears coming up next week. Bears and Eagles playing right now on Amazon Prime, I believe it is, right? Is that where that game is at? So therefore, I do not have it, and I'm not watching because I'm doing a radio show. Charlie, on the other hand, has it up on his phone. He's watching intently because he's Chicago Charlie, after all. Charlie, how is that game looking right now?
Caleb Williams is short and needs to grow a few more inches because for the second time today, he's thrown into an Eagles defensive lineman's face. This time it resulted in said defensive lineman getting an interception and putting them onto their own 35-yard line.
That's not good. Caleb Williams on the day, 11 of 28. With an interception, 90 yards. His average throw is 3 yards. He has a passer rating of 33.3.
They've just been able to run the ball. It's just crazy. That's the only way they're staying alive.
Folks, the Bears are winning. He is 11 of 28 for 90 yards, a pick, a passer rating of 33.3, and the Bears are up 10-9 because the Eagles mixed an extra point on their last touchdown.
It's awesome.
But the only touchdown.
This is how the Bears have won every single one of their games so far this season.
It's insane. Jalen Hurts, 8 of 16 for 107, a touchdown and an interception himself. What has happened to Saquon Barkley? 9 for 28 yards only. My God, DeAndre Swift, 13 for 107. Why are they letting Caleb Williams even throw the football at this point?
I have no idea. And Kyle Monagai has been running pretty hard, too. They've been able to lock him up a little bit more, but not as much as DeAndre Swift. The Eagles' offensive line just looks awful. Like, they are allowing Saquon Barkley to get hit at the line of scrimmage almost every single play he runs the ball.
I like Monagai a lot. I liked how he looked in place of Swift. I don't know what they're going to do at the end of the year, but yeah, that's a nice little 1-2 punch over there for the Bears. So Bears up 10-9, Eagles ball in Bears territory after the interception thrown by Caleb Williams. So we'll keep you updated on that as we go throughout the show up until 5 o'clock.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Again, thanks to Gilbert Brown, Packers Hall of Famer, the Gravedigger, for joining us in the last segment. Thanks to Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day podcast. He joined us in the second segment of the show back in the first hour at 2 o'clock as we recap and rehash this Packer-Lions game. Still to come. Fantasy Football Friday with Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Get your questions in for fantasy football. The Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250. He'll join us coming up in 15 minutes. Time now for Charlie's segment. We got pushed back a little bit because of Gilbert Brown. So we moved it to 4 o'clock in the Green and Gold update with Gilbert Brown instead. Charlie Usen, where are we going first?
All right, so first up, I teased it before the break there. Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan down there in Dallas. He joins them every single week, and he was discussing how he tried to trade Micah Parsons for Quinnen Williams before the season even started.
I actually tried to trade for Williams. I tried to get the Jets in training camp, period. And I was going to I wanted a 1 and Parsons for Williams. A 1 and Parsons for Williams. I thought that much of Williams. And he's showing you what he can do for a defense. And so, you'd love to have Micah and love to have several players around, but that's not the game. That's not the system. The NFL system is built so that everybody has a chance to put equal players out there.
Jerry, what changed then? Because we played that audio because we got that audio later that came out of you talking to the I think it was somebody in New York when you talked about that. Was it just the Jets basically, starting out horribly that changed their mind as far as why they didn't want to do that deal with you to start the season versus why they made that deal at the deadline?
Yeah, and plus they didn't have the cap room to pay Micah.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
I'm furious if I'm a Jets fan. I'll be honest. Not that Micah Parsons would have signed with the Jets anyhow because how much of a dumpster fire that organization is. But that's a hell of a deal if you're the Jets. You lose Quentin Williams to get Micah and a 1 out of the deal. Man, that's some tough luck there. And then you see what they ended up getting back in place for Quentin Williams anyhow. It's not nearly as good what they could have had for Quentin Williams. So Jerry Jones, really, again, you don't have to like him. Did you see the guy that paints their fence all the time?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did see that one. That was
the thank you, Jerry thing with a picture of Jerry
Micah.
Jones and Micah Parsons on the fence. Matt Schneidman tweeted that out yesterday. So that's funny. And everybody's going to be critical of Jerry for that Micah deal. But if the Cowboys make the playoffs and the Packers make the playoffs, I don't know how critical you can really be of Jerry Jones if his team still makes the postseason, even after making that Micah Parsons deal.
I mean, it seems like they made the right decisions on offense. They've done a lot of great things in the draft for their offensive line, which is something they've been able to do a lot. Javonte Williams has a career resurgence with the Dallas Cowboys so far this season with all the touchdowns that he's able to get. He's made a lot of right moves. It's just that the biggest story of the offseason was how bad he was and that people want to start going at him, including us at points here. But he's also made some good points this season. To your point, you gotta give him the credit when it's due.
Jalen Hurts just fumbled the ball
Yes, he did.
as they were getting ready to score.
Two straight tush pushes, and the Bears stopped both of them, including forcing a fumble on the second one.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive there. So Bears ball, they get the ball back at where are they? Their own 13.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, they were in position to kick a field goal and potentially take the lead there. That was what was that? Was that a third down play or a fourth down play?
Fourth down.
So they could have kicked the field goal, not done the fourth down play. So really, it doesn't matter that he fumbled the ball because it would have been turnover on downs anyhow if he wasn't going to get it really at the end of the day, right? That's what you're saying?
Yep, exactly.
Should kick the field goal. This is, again, Mina Kimes. I love Mina Kimes, but she was on X yesterday after the Packers converted a fourth down and got a touchdown. And she said, oh, thank goodness, all the dads and grandpas won't be complaining about going for it on fourth down and not taking the points because, the Packers scored there. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's my age of why I hate this aggressiveness. But again, the Eagles would be up 12-10 right now.
It's like 3-pointers to you, Sparky.
They'd be up 12-10. And you just gave the points away.
Well, their kicker missed an extra point, so maybe they don't believe in their kicker right now. In this game.
Stop. Elliott's a good kicker. Stop. All right, where's the second one?
Next up here, I'm going to play the one that I think may make you angrier than the other one.
Oh.
This first one, we're going to head over to the Craig Carton show where Tyrone Johnson was filling in for him, his co-host on that show normally, and he was chewing out Roger Goodell over the officiating problems, including Matt LaFleur's phantom timeout yesterday.
The NFL officials have increasingly been incompetent all year, and now I have to do a direct challenge to Roger Goodell. How is this guy, this empty suit, who allows these owners to just manipulate him? When are you going to have a little bit of personal pride as a man? When are you going to pick yourself up and look yourself in the mirror and realize you have the best athletes in the world? You have the best athletes in the world. You have guys that are bigger than everybody that you've ever met and faster than everybody you ever met. You have these athletes that literally put their lives on the line. We hear about all these injuries and CT and all this stuff. And you make these joke guys in charge of it. A 5'5" accountant should not be deciding what happens in the game with these titans that put it all on the line. At what point, if ever, do we finally just get some competent officials? That was a game-altering play. And people say, oh, it was the first half. It wasn't the only thing. Yeah, all games. You can do that with any game. You can do that with any game and say, well, the players do this and the players do that. That should not allow these officials to consistently, and I mean it, consistently be incompetent.
Okay. All right. Okay. Look, man, you're doing the same thing that my dad did when he was our age and my grandpa did when he was my dad's age. My grandpa always used to say, you can beat the other team, but you can't beat the Zebras. Oh, that's what he always said. Always said, you can beat the other team. That does not mean you can beat the Zebras. If you can't beat the Zebras, you're going to lose at the end of the day. And to a degree, it's really true. But here's some breaking news. Everybody complains about officials and referees and umpires in every sport. Every sport. Baseball, we complain about it. Basketball, we complain about it. Football, we complain about it. With all due respect, I don't care anymore. You're just going to have to play with whatever happens. Christian Watson's arm is clearly held like they were walking down the aisle to get married, and they don't throw a flag or do anything about it. You got to play through it, figure it out next time. Because again, in that game, it went both ways. Yeah, they blew the LaFleur timeout. I tried to argue it until LaFleur winked at the media like, we got away with one there. I mean, you just don't do that. But either way, it's funny. Everybody thought it was funny. Okay, I get it. Ha, ha, ha. Jokes on the referees. But later, does that same referee give Matt LaFleur the benefit of the doubt after he winks about it in a press conference? Or do those referees like, yeah, screw you. You pretty much threw me under the bus with your little wink there. So to heck with this, you're not getting the benefit of the doubt anymore going forward. You just wonder how much that comes back and affects them. These guys are human too. I don't care if they're lawyers, accountants, or whatever they do for the real job. They are human and they have feelings too, Charlie.
Well, and to his other point about having 5'5" guys referee these titans, as he calls them, quote unquote, if there were former NFL players that really wanted to be referees and were going to put in the time to learn the rule book that well and do all this stuff to be referees, Roger Goodell would be very happy to allow them to be referees. I promise you, he would love if these guys came back and were the ones reffing this game. But it doesn't seem like a lot of these guys are taking that avenue after their careers. So who are you going to convince that's not the 5'5" accountants that know the entire rule book to go and do that job? It's a very thankless job. It's not fun to do. A lot of these former players have egos that they don't want to burn when they become a referee. It's not going to work.
They would have to be bad NFL players that would come back. Tom Brady's not running around from one side of the field to the other side of the field for a couple $100,000 a year. It's just not going to happen. But a guy that is in the league for 3 or 4 years, right? They may run around for that type because they don't have enough money to do it the rest of their life. So they very well may run around and play referee. You see it. Haywood Workman, former Buck, he's been a referee in the NBA for a number of years now. So you see it a little bit there in the NBA, but in the National Football League, I can't come up with one. Have you ever heard of one?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
No, I can't come up with one. All right, clip number 3.
And last up here, this one I think you'll like a little bit. This is one of your favorites, Danny Parkins on First Things First.
That's a lie. I can't stand Danny Parkins.
Well, he was giving the Packers credit where credit is due.
That is the optimized version of what they are trying to be. All right, Coach Willie, I will be honest with you. That version of the Packers is scary. To me, that is the optimized version of what they are trying to be. And like Jordan Love, I have criticized him for not being a trustworthy player. I think he's inconsistent. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't feel the rush or the game situation.
Streaky.
Very streaky.
Yep, I got you.
But he's a big game hunter. Like that guy throws the ball down the field. And yesterday on deep balls, he was just awesome. Like 4 of 6 on deep passes for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And in the first 11 games this year, he only had 1 touchdown on deep balls this year. So he's always trying to do it. Yesterday, he connected. And when you combined that with yesterday, Matt LaFleur, he beat Dan Campbell at his own game.
Yes, he did.
Matt LaFleur went for it on 4th down 3 times. And the first one is a touchdown to Wicks on a deep ball. Again, it's 4th and 2. Jordan Love, you're throwing deep. This is another 4th and down. They're not settling for a field goal. Hit Dobbs in the corner. And then maybe the scariest one, the one to ice the game just on the other side of the 2-minute warning. He's getting hit. He's falling back.
Back to Wicks.
Wicks loses his shoe and he catches it. So, if the Packers are going to connect on their deep balls and convert on 4th downs with touchdowns and game icing drives, and Micah's going to be a closer for you, Willie, that's the scariest version of this team.
Okay. That was nice. When did he say this? Today?
Earlier today.
This is the thing. You said Caleb Williams was better than Jordan Love at the beginning of the year.
A lot of times, too. I think he still says that, actually.
I don't care what he thinks at this point. I just don't. Unless you go on the air every day and apologize to Jordan Love for being wrong. Unless you're going to do that, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Again, is Caleb Williams getting better? I guess. He's 11 of 29 today with a pick for 90 yards. So is that better than Jordan Love, Danny Parkins? Are you going to go on the air and say they can't win because they have Caleb Williams? I highly doubt it.
And situationally, though, like you said, Jalen Hurts isn't playing that great of a game either on the other side.
No,
so
I agree, but we're not talking about Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. We're talking about Caleb Williams and Jordan Love. I'm not the idiot that made that statement that Caleb Williams was better than Jordan Love at the beginning of the year. But he says that stuff. He says, with Craig Counsell, they're never going to lose the division to the Brewers again. You can mark this down. Man, they haven't won the division yet. That was 2 years ago. He gets all high and mighty on his teams, and then this looks wrong all the time. Maybe just chill and be like, hey, man, I hope he gets better than Ben Johnson. We'll see what happens. That would be a good take. Maybe he's trying to be outrageous and over the top. I don't know. I don't feel like he's that guy. I feel like he believes what he says. So it's just, whew.
Who do you trust more in Jordan Love? Danny Parkins or Adam Shine?
I can't say neither one of them. Neither one of them
have some crazy things this season about Jordan Love. Yeah.
Don't like either one of them. Adam Shine pretty much said Jordan Love's going to suck and they need to get rid of him in his first year. So at that point, I was like, okay, we're done. Not following you anymore. Unfollow. I move on. See, that's the difference between me and a lot of other people. A lot of you get mad at somebody and continue following that person on social media and then raise your blood pressure every time that person says something stupid. When legitimately, you can just unfollow them and be done and not have to. That's what I do.
Block them so you don't see their stuff anymore. It's
yes,
crazy.
That's what I do. And then when they say something stupid, if somebody else retweets it, okay, then maybe you'll see it. But otherwise, you don't see all the other stuff that they put up on social media. I don't follow Parkins. I don't follow Adam Shine or any of these other guys.
I'll make sure you hear it then, for sure. Whenever I see
you will, yes. Charlie Sounds of the Day. That's what this man does to me every day. Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Time for some Fantasy Football Friday, whether you're in Green Bay and Appleton listening to WNFL, or in Wausau or Duluth Superior listening to the game, or in Milwaukee listening to the Fan. Let's talk some fantasy football with Joe Bartel. Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. In a world of tenders, Wendy's decided to make something more juicy, more crispy, and more dippable. New chicken tenders are here. Some may call them tendies. And yes, it's fun to say and even more fun to eat. Wendy's new chicken tendies come with an insane new sauce lineup. New Wendy's signature, new sweet chili, or new scorching hot. Choose one of the classics: honey barbecue, creamy ranch, or honey mustard. Whatever you choose, that's the perfect vessel to dip all your tendies in. Wendy's new chicken tenders are so juicy, crispy, and dippable, you'll remember them forever. Gotta have tendies. It's gotta be Wendy's. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie using other side of the glass. Bears just scored a touchdown. Kyle Monagai. How you say his name?
Monagai.
Yeah, I said it right. He has 17 carries for 120 yards. DeAndre Swift, 14 carries for 113 yards. The Bears have 36 rushes for 257 yards and 2 scores. Caleb Williams, break it out for Caleb. He topped 100. He finally got there. It took him 3 quarters. He's now 13 of 31 for 103 yards and a pick. He's averaging 3 yards a throw, the 37 quarterback rating, and they are up 8 on the Eagles at the beginning of the 4th quarter. My God.
Win, baby, win. That's all it is.
Goodness. Charlie and I were talking about this in the break. We're going to get to Joe Bartel momentarily. We were talking about this in the break. If you're the Green Bay Packers watching this, and I'm Jeff Halfley, everybody's playing up. Evan Williams is coming up. Everybody. Until you prove to me that you can throw for 300 yards and throw over the top of my defense, I ain't worried about you, Caleb Williams. I'm run blitzing. I'm bringing everybody. Let's see if you can actually throw the football. And if Caleb Williams beats you through the air, I'll live with it because he hasn't really beaten a whole bunch of teams through the air this year. So let's see what happens. But DeAndre Swift, I'm on a guy, ain't running for, 234 against me. And they're in the beginning of the 4th, which means they're going to get even more yards.
Yeah, they're just going to keep feeding those guys. It's crazy.
Ben Johnson is a hell of an offensive coordinator, man. Like, I don't care what you say. That dude is the real deal. He's got Caleb Williams, who ain't doing jack, and they're still putting it on him.
Mm-hmm. He's got the whole team energized, whole team behind him.
Fantasy Football Friday time. Joe Bartel of RotoWire Fantasy Sports joins us now. Follow him on X at JB Fantasy Sports. Get your questions in now. Fantasy football questions. Nicolay Law talking text line. You can text us or call us your questions. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Or you can message us right there on YouTube or on X as we live stream this bad boy. And Charlie will get the questions asked if you decide to go that way with your questions for Joe Bartel. Joe, can you explain to me how Caleb Williams has 103 yards and they're beating the Eagles in Philly nonetheless?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wasn't anticipating really this at all. I'm currently viewing Zootopia 2 right now. So we've been missing the Eagles-Bears game. I think it was for mental health reasons too, because we don't want to watch the Bears actually win this one. I heard.
No, wait a second. Hold on, Joe. Hold on. Chris Jackie, former Packers kicker, earlier today on X, said that we should all be rooting for the Bears to win this game because you have the Bears 2 more times. You don't have the Eagles. This pulls the Eagles back closer to you to give you that chance at the higher seat.
Yeah, I get it. I don't want to watch the Bears win. Call me a homer.
Same.
I
Same.
I don't want to ever be in a world where I'm like, all right, come on, Bears, let's go ahead and do this. But I heard you guys talk at the beginning. I mean, again, I'm not watching the game. Is Jalen Carter out? I mean, this is shocking to me that they're allowing
he's in there.
rushing yards. I mean, that was the only times earlier this year where the Eagles defense kind of was shredded to this degree. And you're right. I mean, when an offense is so one-sided, how are they attempting 35 pass attempts and then also another 30 rushing yards? Like the sheer amount of play calls the Bears are going to have by the end of this game relative to the Eagles is questionable in itself. But I don't know. I mean, I still think that DJ Moore and Roma Dunze and even Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, like those are good weapons, good pieces. And I would not want to say like, all right, yeah, let's just let Caleb Williams throw for 300 yards. I think he can. I understand maybe you're not in the same boat. But what I don't want to ever watch happen, and my God, I remember so many Packer teams having this exact same thing, the 49er games in particular, I don't want to be beaten down by the run game for 3 quarters and lose that football game. So You're right. I would much rather, as a Packer fan who has been through this before, I would much rather have a quarterback beat us. And the way that Jeff Halfley plays that defense and really doesn't let any explosive plays happen, I do think that plays into the Packers' hands a little bit. But I thought that at the beginning of the year they would split against the Bears and split against the Lions. I'm happy that didn't happen, at least from the Lions' perspective. I hope I'll be wrong against Chicago too.
They have 31 total plays. There are 8 of 16 throwing Jalen Hurts. They have 15 rushes, 12 by Barkley, 3 by Hurts. 31. Caleb Williams has 31 pass attempts, and the Bears, 2 main rushers, have 31 rushing attempts. They have 36 total. So they're doubling up the plays that they're running on offense compared to what Philadelphia is running and are still up by 8, and that's because Elliott missed a extra point earlier. It should be 17-10. So 17-9 right now. Hurts with a pick. Caleb Williams threw to a defensive lineman for his interception. Plus, on top of all of that, you've had Caleb Williams. Did Williams fumble the ball too in this game, or that was Hurts? That was Hurts.
Hurts did.
Yeah, Hurts had a
tush push.
He had a tush push fumble on 4th down when they were down there with a chance to take the lead 12-10, and they went for it instead. So this game is just irritating to me. Let's talk about where we go now in fantasy. What do you do if you have a guy like Justin Jefferson going with Max Brosmer, the Golden Gopher, getting his first career start for Minnesota?
Yeah, that really is one of the big fantasy questions for this week. It is inarguable that this situation for the Vikings offense with J.J. McCarthy as the quarterback has been horrendous for fantasy. I mean, think about it. Justin Jefferson was a top 5 pick. You were sitting through 2 games of Jordan Addison suspension and still taking him in the 7th or 8th round. I mean, T.J. Hawkinson was being drafted. You had Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason on rosters. When you have quarterback play as bad as McCarthy has been, it really just hinders the whole thing. So I would love to answer and be like, nothing can be worse than J.J. McCarthy. Like, literally, on some of the metrics right now, we're talking one of the worst quarterbacks we've seen over the past 30 years that's gotten multiple starts. Like, literally, there might not be anything worse. McCarthy was still a first-round pick, a national championship winner compared to an undrafted free agent, and the only reason the Vikings have that is because they gave away all their draft picks because of the Dallas Turner and McCarthy trades. Don't talk to me about Brosmer being this talented guy that they uncovered. They needed to have UDFAs on the roster to make their 53 because they had no draft picks. So I don't think it gets significantly better. Now, maybe there's processing issues, and I think clearly J.J. McCarthy has that, but maybe there's something that Brosmer can do better or more efficiently. I think like Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. Like, you could say both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are bad quarterbacks, but they play different styles. That would be the best case scenario if you have Jefferson or Addison fantasy-wise in the case of Brosmer. I think Jefferson's far too talented, and I think Kevin O'Connell's far too good of a play caller to not play Jefferson. But in the case of Addison, I can't trust it, and I probably won't trust it for multiple weeks, because if Brosmer does throw, let's just say 150 yards, that would probably mean Jefferson does okay. And even in that instance, Jordan Addison probably doesn't. So I'm nervous to start any Vikings players, and it's only just Jefferson off the name value alone that you have to play him.
Jackson Dart comes back from injury and is going to play, it looks like, against the Patriots. Is that somebody you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, he probably is in the range of top 10 quarterback. My only concern is we've had Jackson Dart checked for concussion or missing games now 4 times, and I think the 6 or 7 starts that he's had in his NFL career. If I'm the Giants, and especially where I'm at record-wise, I'm telling Jackson Dart, can we please try to do this shtick a little bit less, diving for head first downs, things like that. And maybe there's even less run calls designed for Jackson Dart. Now, Dart's been awesome because of what he does outside of the pocket, outside of structure. I think he'll still be able to do that more or less. But I do think there's going to be some less run calls deliberately made for Dart, and that would hinder his fantasy value because he's been living off the fact that he can run a little bit more. So Dart's probably in that range. I don't think the Patriots defense is as fearsome as maybe the metrics would indicate. Their opponents are largely some of the worst, I think, from a per game schedule perspective we've seen in some time. In the same token, though, I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson, for example, on the RotoWire site, rest of the season schedule is actually our number 1 receiver target. And you want to have Jackson Dart be able to feed him the same way Jameson Winston is. I almost think it's a bit of a downgrade for the pass catchers because the way Winston just chucks the ball is going to be a benefit regardless. So Dart's probably a fancy play, but maybe as opposed to Wan'Dale Robinson being an automatic start, maybe there's better options for people instead.
Our guy, Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Follow him on Twitter, JB Fantasy Sports. If you got a fantasy football question for him, lineup question, trade question, whatever the case may be, Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Leave it in the Dugout YouTube or X chat as well at WI Sports Radio. I have poo-pooed this next player all year to Charlie. I have, and I believe I've poo-pooed him to you too. Yet I see fantasy people saying that you should start this cat this week, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll have to see the stats of Marvin Harrison as well too. Brissett's been pretty good, and at least the amount of attempts that he's having is really allowing for that offense overall to function. Michael Wilson's emerged over the past 2 weeks as a very clear play, especially in full-point PPR leagues. Brissett doesn't give you a whole lot from a running perspective, which is what you want to have fantasy-wise. But really, I mean, I think he really is in that range of low-end quarterback 1, maybe like quarterback 15, 16 range. There are no teams on bye, which is a good thing for all of us in fantasy. 4 teams on bye next week. I think Brissett probably is on the outside of the range of must-play territory, but he's just been producing yardage and touchdowns and not making many mistakes. He's clearly the Cardinals' best quarterback, and I think against Jacksonville, you have the concerns about the pass rush, but otherwise, Brissett's in that range. I would much rather have him over the Tyler Shucks of the world and maybe even play him over Baker Mayfield, who certainly looked limited against, or for me, in my opinion, against the Rams last week. But with no teams on bye, you maybe don't have to go the Brissett direction this week.
There seems to be a feeling that if somebody plays the Commanders, you play them. And that is exactly the situation we have for this Broncos offense.
Yeah, fire up just about everyone. Bo Nix is available in a few of my leagues. He's been my Baker Mayfield replacement for this week. I feel great about Bo Nix just from the yardage and touchdown perspective, what he gives you as a floor. I think obviously you're playing RJ Harvey as well, too, with no J.K. Dobbins, probably for the rest of the season. And a guy like Troy Franklin, who I really wasn't a huge fan of him prospect-wise. There was a hive mind, especially from the dynasty community, that have been pushing Troy Franklin last year's rookie. I mean, I'll be honest that I have been wrong about him. The yardage that he's been getting, but more importantly, the targets. He's leading the league or close to it in the average depth per target, which is one of the metrics that you want to look at if you're looking for more explosive plays and opportunities to capitalize on that. It's one of the reasons Jameson Williams was kind of a play most weeks, even when he's getting you zeros. They're just throwing it ball downfield so often. That's exactly what Troy Franklin is doing for that Broncos offense. So Bo Nix, RJ Harvey, Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton. I mean, the Commanders coming off a bye. Maybe get Jaden Daniels back. Sounds like they might get Terry McLaurin back too. The offense gets better, but I don't know how they fix such an old defense that can't stop the run and is not fast enough to stop the pass. I think the Broncos are really going to roll this week.
The Bears just scored again, another touchdown. So now it's about to be 24-9. The Eagles got that ball back after the last Bears score, went 1-2-3 punt and gave it right back to the Bears, who then drove it right down the field on them. So
Kill Williams, 28-yard passing touchdown to Cole Kmet, by the way, Sparky.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So again, like I said, if I'm the Packers next week, make him beat you. Do not let these two running backs beat you at the end of the day. All right, give me somebody, Joe Bartel, that you have your eyes on that others may not.
I don't know about others may not, but I want to get the discussion now. Devin Neal, running back for the Saints, rookie. Alvin Kamara not playing this week, might not play the rest of the season, sprained MCL. I think if you're still having some bit of fab or weight wear, and obviously it's passed for a lot of folks now at this point, Devin Neal as a runner, I think at Kansas was really, really good.
Loved him.
Fell the sixth round, I thought, pretty inexplicably. I thought he was going to be more like a third or fourth round pick. And then I am attributing to the depth of this running back class, which hasn't been very good, but now we're seeing Monunga and a few of these other guys get a little bit better. So I think Devin Neal as the full workload or workhorse guy will be good. I'm not worried about Taysom Hill vulturing opportunities at the goal line that we saw last week. I thought that was just sort of a mid-game adjustment with Kamara injured. And Devin Neal, if he can be the pass catcher for that offense too and get more targets, I mean, I think it just really wheels up for me. I talked about my waiver article. I thought he was a spend your entire fab, an automatic must play basically this week and moving on, where maybe it's too aggressive. I'm a little bit worried that I put myself out there with that, but I have a lot of belief in the prospect that is Devin Neal.
I have one other thing I'd like to say for my own personal well-being. Finally, Bucky Irving is going to play this week. Finally, he's going to play. He's been practicing for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're going to cap his snaps, too. I'm not sure if you saw that report on Wednesday. I was in that same sort of boat. I need him to play in a few leagues, and it sounds like they're planning for him to only do 15 to 20. So guess what?
So what do you do?
Available. I don't know if you play him either. Like, I played Bucky Irving over Xavier Worthy, for example. I thought that one made sense even against the Cowboys defense. I feel okay. But if it's Wan'Dale Robinson or Bucky Irving, I'm playing Wan'Dale Robinson. Or if it's even Troy Franklin, I just talked about earlier.
I've got Bucky Irving or the guy that you told me to get the other Buccaneer running back.
Sean Tucker. Yeah,
yes.
I would play Bucky Irving over Sean Tucker, but that might be, I mean, I'm just going over, it's not just all about you, I promise.
Geez.
I mean, I love doing the show with you, but I have to give the fancy advice to everyone out there. Maybe they don't all have Sean Tucker as well, but yes, I think you're playing Bucky Irving over Sean Tucker this week.
That's what I have. That's what I'm going with. Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. On X at JB Fantasy Sports. He will answer your questions there as well if you have them leading up to the game on Sunday. And when can the fine folks catch you on Sirius XM?
Yeah, we'll have 5 to 7 p.m. Central Saturday, Angel Fire Radio. I'll be going over a lot more of the questions about too, so call it to Sirius XM. Happy to answer those. Do a bit more of the trade conversation, also what to prepare for if you are in the fantasy playoff hunt. So that's going to be a good show tomorrow.
There he is, Joe Bartel. Thank you so much, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. There he is, Joe Bartel, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. And let me tell you, if you are looking for football and you are looking coming up this weekend for football as well, there's all kinds of different places you can look for football. But Sports Talk on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Paramount Plus. Can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. There he is, man. There he is. People are out shopping. Maybe they're shopping for some ties or some dress shirts. My guy, Austin Herdina, is there, man. He should have his own personal account, Styling with Austin Herdina, right? That's really what it should be, Charlie. Be there to give all these ladies some advice about how to style up their significant other, Charlie.
And we haven't big screened him yet, but that tie already from here, already from the little
awesome.
preview, I can already tell is beautiful.
Yes, It looks beautiful. We'll get to Austin Herdina. You can check out the stylish Austin Herdina coming up next on X and on YouTube. He is the sportsbook manager at the Potawatomi Sportsbook as we follow the money. Coming up next, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. Belated happy Thanksgiving. Day after Thanksgiving, obviously. But if you missed the Green Bay football postgame show last night with Tommy Wirtz and myself, powered by Lakeland University, go back, listen to that, wherever you download your favorite podcast at. If you missed 9 to noon with John Kuhn this morning, it wasn't with John Kuhn, though. It was with Rami Makloff and Josh Albrecht today from 9 to noon. You can go back and listen to that. You can also go back and listen to the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. That was Thunder and Tommy Wirtz, or this show, Wisconsin Sport Daily. Wherever you download your favorite podcast, just type in the show name. You will find us. You can listen to any of our fun stuff that you hear here on the Wisconsin Sport Radio Network. What were you getting all excited about on the other side of the glass coming out of this break?
Just a good defensive play by the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Nothing too big.
That game is over. It's 24-9.
It's not over yet.
It's over. It's
Eagles
all
are driving
done.
a little bit.
No, and in the words of Ted Davis, it's in the bank and drawing interest. It's all done. 24-9, 4:15 to go in the game. Philly just getting crushed, not because of Caleb Williams, but because they can't stop the damn run this entire football game. 269 yards rushing by the Chicago Bears in that game. Joining us now on the Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Time for our Follow the Money segment with the stylish Austin Herdina down there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin, how are we doing today, buddy?
Excellent. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Where do we buy our ties, Austin? Where are we tie shopping? That is a nice tie. We like your tie on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio.
This one I got for like $5 on eBay.
See that? eBay shopping. I never would have thought to go on eBay to go buy ties.
I have no problem buying used ties. Some people like the things brand new like that, but hey, I'll buy a used tie for cheap any day.
Yeah, it looks good. Have you ever thought about going on eBay for a tie, Charlie?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm a thrift store guy though,
Yeah.
so maybe I will in the future.
Yeah, I never thought of it. Okay. Hey, how are y'all doing? The Potawatomi Sportsbook doing on this Bears thrashing of the Philadelphia Eagles currently?
It's kind of surprising. We took a lot more money on the Eagles today, but we have a good group of people here cheering on the Bears. So I don't know. I just kind of mixed maybe. We got more tickets on the Eagles for sure. But yeah, it's quite a surprise. 7.5 point favorite for the Eagles, and they're getting shellacked here.
That is crazy town stuff right there. Okay, let's get into a couple of the other things that we need to talk about this weekend. Before we get to the games this Sunday, let's talk a little bit about what happened in that Packer game yesterday on Thanksgiving, Austin. What did you make out of the performance you saw from the Packers? Did it change your opinion of the Packers?
I really was impressed with our offense. I was a little worried going up against the Lions defense, but gosh, we even had guys like, Wicks show up. I feel like where's Wicks been this season, but he showed up with 2 touchdowns. Yep. Jordan Love spread the ball out very well. He played at Pro Bowl caliber level for sure. Defense was there when we needed them. Parsons had another great game. I mean, we're about to be in second place in the division again because the Bears are about to win again. But gosh, I mean, it's going to be a pretty great rest of the year. A good stretch.
It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, part of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. As always, we always like to follow the money with our guy Austin Herdania of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Charlie, any idea? Do you want to take a shot in the dark at what game might be where the top money is going into this weekend in the National Football League, Charlie?
That's a tough one, but I think looking at the schedule right now, I mean, the Rams over Carolina, you feel like that's got to be a murder over there. You think that people are just taking the Rams easy on that money line.
I think if you look at the games coming up this weekend, we just got done talking with Joe Bartel of RotoWire Fantasy Sports about, man, anybody that plays the Commanders, play everybody on the opposing offense. That Broncos game in Washington, Sunday Night Football. Austin Herdania, as we follow the money of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, that would be my guess, would be Denver against Washington. Where is the most money being spent right now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook?
So as things stand, the Rams are actually 11th. Broncos are 6th. So neither of them at the top. But the number one team with the most bet on this week is the Atlanta Falcons, -2.5 against the Jets.
The Falcons?
I think it's a lot of people just fading the Jets again. Yeah. Something I saw interesting is the NFC South is got to be the worst division in football, right? I mean, Buccaneers, Panthers, they're doing decent this year, but you got Saints and who's the other team in there?
Panthers.
Yeah, just not a great division. And the Jets
Panthers are playing better, though. I mean, you got to give the Panthers some love. I mean, they're 6-6 right now. They're doing pretty good for Panther standards. That's a really good season.
You're right. I mean, you're right. They beat us.
Yeah.
Jets are 0-12 in their last 12 games against the NFC South, and that's a really bad division. So, I mean, Atlanta -2.5, Kirk Cousins at the helm. We'll see what happens.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. Game number 2 as we follow the money with Austin Herdania of the Potawatomi Sportsbook here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. What's game number 2?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It started at -3. It's gone all the way up to -4. I see some places at -4.5 already. That's a game where I think a lot of people were wondering on Baker Mayfield about his injury status, but now it sounds like he's going to be playing. So I can understand why there's some money coming in on them. Playing Arizona, a team that's just, they don't really seem like they have anything to play for right now.
Like the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Tampa at home, I like that one. And then third, we got Buffalo Bills -3.5 against the Steelers. That's game that's going to be in Pittsburgh.
Rodgers starting.
Yeah, it should be a good game. I'm excited for that one actually because the Bills have just been so hot and so cold this year. Like they can turn it on when they need to, but they've just really put some duds out there as well.
Their
So,
defense has put some duds out there as well, too. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, for all this, oh boy, that was a good win by the Packers. I was like, they're not that good. Settle down. By the time this is all done, they're not going to win their own division. And the Steelers, 6-5, they lose this game, they're back to 500 at that point. They're in danger of missing the playoffs if they lose this game.
yeah, but then you look at the Ravens again last night. Them, losing. The Bengals were so far behind, but now they're getting a little healthier. Get Burrow back. Who knows? That's a division that I still feel like is up for grabs. So we'll see what happens.
Let's look at that Ravens schedule quickly. The Ravens next up will have the Steelers in Baltimore.
Huge game.
Then at the Bengals, sort of like the Packer Bears, where they get the same team 2 weeks later. So then they're at the Bengals, home against the Patriots. That won't be easy. At the Packers, and then at the Steelers to end the year. So they have not faced the Steelers or the Bengals prior to that Bengals game yesterday when this whole thing started. Kind of like the Packers with the Vikings and the Bears. Same thing.
Yeah, that's a really rough stretch for Baltimore going into the last end of the year. Steelers, I feel like, have a little easier schedule for them, so might be the better play.
The Steelers, from their schedule standpoint, let me see if I can call that up as well. Steelers schedule left, they have against the Bills, probably a loss. Then at the Ravens, I think they lose that one. Then home against the Dolphins, fine, that's a win. At the Lions, don't know. At Cleveland, that should be a win. And then home against the Ravens to end the season. That home against the Ravens to end the season might be for the division.
So, I mean, don't rule out the Bengals yet. I know they were super far behind. Are you telling me that you don't believe in Joe Burrow and that offense?
No, they're not going to win out. They're damn near going to have to win out to win this division.
How many games back are they from the division lead right now? Like 1.5, 2, isn't it?
Let me see here. In the AFC, they are right now 4-8. The Steelers 6-5. The Ravens 6-6.
So if the Steelers lose to the Bills, that means the Bengals are 2 back with all those games left, and they're all divisional games. There's a path.
Unbelievable.
I'm just saying there's a path.
Yeah, no, there is a path. If they come back and win this division, my God, Mike Tomlin's going to get fired in Pittsburgh. That may be the last nail in the coffin for Mike Tomlin if he blows this to a team that didn't have Joe Burrow for majority of the year. Austin Herdania, thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy your weekend. People, if you want to reserve a seat, it's nominal fee. Goes towards your food and beverage costs for the night, which you're going to do anyhow. All you got to do is go to potawatomi.com/sportsbook to reserve your seat today for the weekend. Thank you so much, Austin. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Look at that time. Man, oh man. Austin Herdania styling and profiling. The one and only Austin Herdania over there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the S Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now. Don't miss Milwaukee Admirals hockey this season. Don't just buy tickets. Invest in memories at MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
All right, here we go. Only a couple of minutes left to go in this one. And I do want to bring something to your attention because I feel like it is necessary to bring to your attention. The Admirals game has been switched. So instead of playing tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, they now will play coming up Sunday afternoon instead. So again, instead of playing like everybody thought they were going to play tomorrow night at 6, they're getting ready for this snowstorm that is coming in. Instead, they're going to play Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock against Rockford. So no longer an Admirals game tomorrow night at 6. Instead, it will be Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. So make that note. If you're an Admiral season ticket holder, make sure you are on top of that one. I'm curious here real quick. Marquette loses today by a point to Oklahoma. Wisconsin, they looked good last night shooting the basketball, man. Rapp looked really good shooting the basketball outside. Badgers take on TCU in the Rady Children's Invitational coming up here in just a little bit.
They are currently playing.
They are currently playing
on Fox right now. TCU up 4-0 currently.
Perfect. So the Badgers did look good. Hey, the Eagles scored. It's 24-15.
They did, but then they messed up the 2-point conversion. Still a 9-point
with
game.
2:47 left or something.
Hey,
that's over.
AJ Brown fantasy owners. He has 2 touchdowns.
That's
me. So there you go. That's me. He's having a good day.
You're talking to me.
Aren't you happy now, Sparky? You're cheering for the Bears, right?
No, no, I'm not. Absolutely not. Never, ever, ever, ever will cheer for the Bears. Not happening. Tomorrow, Wisconsin Sports Weekend, 9 to 11, Charlie Usen. What do you got coming up? You and the Peacock, Jack Pembroke.
Coming up tomorrow, as usual, we got Warlocks Locks and the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl. We are working on efforting a guest from the Wisconsin Warlocks disc golf sponsor that he works with, Cardinal Disc. He has the founder of that company, hopefully coming on the show, and then maybe the number one disc golfer in the world.
Okay, I'll ask. Who's that?
I have to look up the name again. He was working on it. That one was not for sure.
Okay, is there a big disc golf community
in Wisconsin? It's
Wisconsin?
Huge. Midwest, actually, it's huge. It's
really
a very big culture. Yeah, and the Wisconsin Warlock, little known fact, is also one of the best players in Wisconsin. So.
All right, very good. Charlie Hughes and the Peacock, Jack Pembroke, tomorrow 9 to 11 on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thanks for listening here this afternoon. Thanks to Andy Herman of the Pack a Day Podcast, Gilbert Brown, the Packers Hall of Famer, the Gravedigger, Joe Bartell, and of course, Austin Herdania for joining us here this afternoon as well. Enjoy your weekend. If you're in southeastern Wisconsin, be careful in the snow, shoveling yourself out of it here in the next 24 hours. Doodles.